I'm going to have to say this, and I know Kansu does not want me to do this. You're not even worth discussing these matters with.
Little motherfucker gonna try to rob me. Well, I'm gonna show you how we do it up here in Benton. No, I wasn't trying to rob. Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in you. Now who sent you?
So what's up? We standing tall in your short stuff.
Yes.
Our lunch is the bullshit that you dressed up. Address us on scholarship, homie, knowing you messed up. So fess up, you look for the best, knowing that that's us. So what's up? We standing tall in your short stuff.
Yes.
Our lunch is the bullshit that you dressed up. Address us on scholarship, homie, knowing you messed up. So fess up, you look for the best, knowing that that's us. Sword clown, know that it's over like it's the fourth down. We the source now. Hear a big bang with tanks on ground. More than the scrimmage, yeah, we forcing the sin, yeah, we pushing no limit. Leave the fight with no blemish. You the hometown, but you not receiving no privilege. We gon' do you bad, rape, rob, and pillage. But we nothing like the white man. I can see that you a big fan. Every time we go live, I see you in the damn stands. Watching and plotting, I see that you stalking a bit.
Yes.
You laughing at people, they seeing you taking.
Here's the definition of plagiarism. The practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as
Crazy
one's
ass nigga, we the source, yeah, we cite source. Spitting hot flames more hotter than hot sauce. For real? Germy ass nigga, I'm grabbing the lights off. Yeah. Me and my amigos, we kill it and take off. So wake the hell up, the source of what validators. When you looking at the source, we know that we elevated. Our ancestors' writings, we work to commemorate it. Now you fully understand why the source is so motivated.
Yo, 7 gang, source gang over everything. You know how we rocking, man.
Yo, we go hard in the yard with a library card.
Facts. Hey, we back at them, man. We right back at them. Had an excellent show. The support was good. We got over 700 views within a day, man. So I appreciate everybody that came out and showed they love for the source. You know what I'm saying? Gonna keep feeding y'all with that spiritual bread. Today's topic is we didn't get to West Africa until recently. We not from West Africa. This is what these people have been telling y'all, these Afrocentric pro-conscious niggas from the other side. The opposition have been telling y'all that we from West Africa, we're stuck in West Africa. That is not true. There is no evidence to point that our ancestors actually were originated there. We actually got there pretty recently during endemic or population migration that came in, infiltrated the Sahara, and came into West Africa, and we brought farming with us. So that's what we're going to talk about and touch on tonight. This morning. I got my brothers Jeremiah. I got my brother James Cassell in the building. Y'all want to say anything to the people before we get started?
Yo, peace and blessings to the family, man. Yeah, man, it was an awesome show yesterday, man. It was really just a continuation of Joshua, man. If you go back on the Source Debate League and you look at James Cassell coming out talking about giving that breakdown on DNA, right, and explaining and showing the European origins, and then you double back. I did a presentation on Esau. Who is Esau, right? Bringing out the same information, migration patterns, biblical breakdowns, showing prophecies, linking in with historical facts. Then you double back yesterday with your program, which was powerful, reiterating the DNA point, man. So we rocking and rolling over here at the Source, man. Source in the building.
All right, Source Gang. That was CEO. James, what's happening, man?
Oh, man, I'm out and about, kind of moving a little bit, but you already know I'm ready.
Yeah, you cut out. Hey, but yeah, man, we're gonna get into it, man. I know we're gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a part of I Don't Give a Damn committee. I'm the head chairman of that committee and organization. So a lot of you guys have this idea about Africa as if it's uniform and all Africans are the same. We've been smashing that doctrine, pretty much since the channel been up. So I know I shook up a lot of people yesterday when I brought out that a lot of those new dynasty pharaohs was R1, haplogroup R1. A lot of people didn't want to believe it, but that has been solidified in studies. That Y chromosomes have been analyzed, and those particular males, Tutankhamun, Amenhotep III, and all of those people of that nature, they have European DNA ancestry in them, man, or Eurasian DNA ancestry in them, and that's just the truth. They don't sit well with you because you've been told anything black is African, anything dark skin or whatever you regard as dark skin is your people, and that's a lie. Like we're gonna cover today, the Bushmen are not your people. The Pygmies are not your people. Many of the Bushmen and Pygmy people have haplogroup B. You're E. You're from a different clade, meaning you share a different male ancestor than them. Many of you have been taught that all the Africans, the mothers and fathers of civilizations are your people, and that comes from you. No, it does not. That is the Khoikhoi, the sun. Many of them people are haplogroup A. Not everybody in Africa is the same, and that's what the point we've been driving home this whole time. And now we're going to touch on, we didn't initially start off in West Africa. The proof of that is the material culture that we had. That was a demic. When you hear the word demic, that's talking about a population. Demic diffusion. A lot of people use that word cultural diffusion. Cultural diffusion doesn't really necessarily mean people moved. Cultural diffusion just means the ideas of the people migrated. So
right. They changed. They don't have nothing to do with a colloquial change or a change of chronography. It just simply means the people started practicing something different.
Exactly. So I like to use something more specific like demic diffusion, where you had a different group of people actually migrating into West Africa. So that was a demic diffusion of our ancestors into West Africa, West Sub-Saharan Africa. Before this period, we weren't in West Africa like that. You had mostly haplogroup A and B, these original foundational Africans, the proto-Africans, if you will, living in these areas. You understand? That's why when you have the Bantu expansion, most of sub-Saharan Africa was filled with these Africans that are Bushmen, Pygmy, or what we'll call the Khoisan people, haplogroup A and B people. When we came in, we were able to displace them. Go ahead, Jeremiah, you want to say something?
Yeah, man. A lot of people, like you said initially, man, a lot of people really are confused concerning the out of Africa theory. They'll let you know that everybody was originally black. Well, that's a true statement. Everybody was originally black, but everybody didn't originate or come out of Africa. We got to cut it out, man. If anybody type in your phone right now, oldest civilization, guess what's going to come up? Sumeria, right? The ancient land of Sumer, which is where? In the so-called northeastern quadrant of the so-called Middle East. So these are things that we have to look at, and brothers don't want to admit that because it damages their narrative and their teaching platform that they've been standing on for years, instead of just being honest. I get tired of niggas lying, man. Just be honest. Then you want to go about to discredit the information. And you want to go, if you can't discredit the information, then you want to go to the author. You want to discredit him. Well, he don't got no degree in that particular field. Or this brother don't got, this brother, when he went to school, he got low grades when he was in college. Like, I mean, like, it's ridiculous, the things that they stoop to, Joshua. Talk to me.
Facts. These guys will ad hominem attack us, attack our character and try to destroy what we built, because they don't like what we said, instead of challenging the information like a man would and standing on they swear. And at this point, we showing the difference. What we showing is y'all can have the antics, y'all can have the games, y'all can be running with Donald. We're gonna be kings over here, right? With the information, we're gonna provide evidence to what we're stating. You understand? And that's what burns them up about the source, because we can actually show and prove where we coming from about this trying to put all African groups together and make them the same. That's not going to work no more. We got understanding, like the book of Daniel says, knowledge shall increase. Our knowledge has increased on these subjects. So we're not going around putting all black people in the same damn box. First of all, that comes from racist white rednecks. That way of thinking, saying all black people are the same, that comes from them. And then it comes from late medieval Christianity, where they would say, oh, well, they have the mark of Canaan on them. The curse of Canaan is on them. That's why their skin's black. So every black person you see is a son of Canaan. That's where that grouping all black people together came from. But when you talk to these white people, it's not the same. When you talk about white people, you allow the white people to be Jews. You allow the white people to be different, to be Vikings, to be any other white group. They can be different. But your black ass, you got to be all the same. Talk to me, Jeremiah. I know you want to say something. Talk to me.
Man, listen, you right on point, man. I mean, it's just so crazy, man. When you look at these brothers claiming to be Afrocentric, claiming to be anti-establishment, claiming to be anti-white, right? Claiming to be pro-black, but are knee deep in white ideology, and they teach it, and they defend it, and would ad hominem you to death to defend that garbage, man.
Hey, they say the master say is real. He don't care what you got to say. You know, that's what they taught you in slavery. Obey the white man and what he say and forget what them Negroes say.
Facts.
Right. I think Judge Joe Brown got commentary on what you just said about the ad hominem attacks, how these people try to discredit you because they can't deal with your information. They don't want to debate you. I don't know how many times we have pursued debates from Ankh and Gozi, and it goes nowhere, right? These guys do not want to see us in intellectual warfare because they know they have no leg to stand on. Ankh still believes in climatology. He believes that skin color and skin gradation depends on where you live on the planet Earth. That's antiquated 19th century stuff. And you're going around believing that. You're not a science guy. You're not up to date. You understand? We deal with science over here.
Yeah, that's what they do. When they get a man that's a man, they try to down him. And if you badmouth somebody often enough, you get people adopting what they hear. So you get a negative impression. So what the deal is take the exemplars who behave like they're supposed to, and you get the people turned against that by telling lies, mistruths, exaggerations, and so forth. And they no longer listen to that individual, but they listen to the idiots.
And that's what goes on in social media. Right. You don't listen to the people that actually study and actually can bring forth a strong argument and actually know what the hell they're talking about. Go listen to these idiots that don't have any understanding of the topic. One guy that I debated before is talking about red egg, white egg on the Esau debate. And I'm breaking down migration patterns, population replacement, the origin of the alleles and the genes. And this dude is pulling up a picture of a red egg that was dyed red and a white egg, saying which one's red, which one's white. That was his presentation.
I mean, and then it's just kind of crazy because white people are not the color of a white egg, man. So, I mean, I don't understand that, bro. Like, come on, man.
And what people go around looking like a crimson red egg? Like, come on, man. And this is what Judge Joe Brown was talking about. They don't listen to the person that's qualified. They listen to the idiots because they defamed your name so much. Now, I don't want to listen to him because, you know, so-and-so said he did XYZ. You understand? And it's all because they are afraid to stand and debate the things that they say that come out their mouth. We had a man on here, Chris Harris. I got him on video. The man made a statement about a book. He wanted to debate about the book, about the Jews being in West Africa, being a part of Sephardim and being Negroes. And he said that's what he wanted to debate. As soon as I said, yes, I'll take that debate. Now he don't want to debate. You show any ounce of confidence, these guys tuck their tails and run for the hills, man. You guys are cowards. Every single one of y'all are cowards.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt! You make me sick, you big baby! Baby, want a bottle?
You understand? And I guess that was that's a fact. That's a whole fact right there. Hey, but this is what I got to say to these guys, and we're going to get into the material, man. Dinesh D'Souza says it the best way it can be phrased about these certain individuals that don't want to get into intellectual warfare with people that know what they're talking about.
Or is it Hillary? In fact, they won't touch this kind of topic. They would like to have some buffoon on who knows nothing about the topic that they can make fun of. But if somebody actually knows what they're talking about, no desire to have a conversation with that guy. And this, I'm afraid, also extends to intellectual academic debate. Professors, I don't name names, but it's true in general, are scared to debate. They say things, but they won't stand up behind them. They rely on their own hospitable crowd of well-wishers to endorse what they say, amplify it. They want Michael Moore to make a movie on it, and they want to be in the New York Review of Books. But they won't stand up man to man in intellectual debate and allow their ideas to be tested.
And that's the thing. You don't want to stand man to man in a debate and allow your ideas to be tested. You just want to go on social media, blurt a bunch of stuff out, and not have to prove anything. It just happened this morning. Somebody on Facebook showed some coffins from 7,000 years ago in ancient Egypt and said, our ancestors did that. I said, you got any DNA to prove that those your ancestors? Because if you look at the DNA from the Kadruka culture, those are all haplogroup A. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Has nothing. Majority of African-American males have haplogroup E. Haplogroup A has nothing to do with you. That's a different lineage. You don't descend from the same fathers as those people. And that's what we've been drilling in you guys' head. And this is why they would like to just throw stuff out there and hope it stick. Because, again, like Dinesh D'Souza said, they would love to have a buffoon up there that don't know what the hell he's talking about and debate the hell out of him. Someone that can actually go into information, disseminate information, and make a point and articulate their points well. They're going to avoid them like the plague. We know that for a fact. Look at who these guys are debating. Just look at the people they're debating and what they're actually debating about. You understand? We know plenty of people that disagree with what we're going to talk about today. Are they going to get up here and talk about it with us? Are they going to discuss this with us? And try to antagonize the information? No, they're not. These guys' hearts pump Kool-Aid. All right, man. Enough of that. We're gonna get right into
Now, hold up, Joshua. That's big fact.
Go ahead, brother.
What said on the clip is what goes on in Clubhouse as well, right? Clubhouse is a prime atmosphere for rhetoric matches. Rhetoric and emotionalism. That's all you're getting over there. You nothing is recorded, nothing is documented. You can't go back and review any of the information that is being brought out. Everything is right on the spot, and it's a multitude of gangsaying going on over there, man. Right? And bullying. People get muted, people get kicked out, and then when they get kicked out, they go start a room just so they can turn around and do the same thing to somebody else. I mean, that's what's going on at the Clubhouse, and that's what you people are heavily into. Instead of coming on here or going live and allowing your information to be challenged in a fair atmosphere and presenting information in a scholastic form in a debate and presenting the information and allowing the information to be challenged because you personally want growth. You don't want to do that. You want to stay ignorant. You want to stay asleep. You want to stay believing what you believe, and you don't care if it can stand up to being
scrutiny.
Yeah. If you think that way, you will never have growth. You will remain stagnant, man. Right? If you know anybody like that, that's what they are. They want to stay right where they are, and they take that argument. When they get beat up on that argument, they take that same argument to the next person with no growth.
Right. It's like the Jesus argument. Like, you still got people out there from the conscious community, the pro-African community, saying Jesus never existed, and we got so much documentation attesting to this man living, being a real person, and you still got people out here saying and teaching and propagating that this man never existed. It's just that type of ignorance that goes on in this quote unquote conscious community. So yeah, man, I could just imagine. I've seen a little bit of it going on that app, but I can just imagine the amount of ignominy that's going on that damn app. But yeah, man, let's get right to this, man. Like the title says, we didn't get to West Africa till recently. A lot of people have been taught and it's been pushed that we have been in West Africa, but what I employ those people to do is actually give some empirical evidence that we were there first, that we originated there. Give us some empirical evidence, not a postulation. Now, you can give us what a scientist may think happened. That's called a postulation. And if you want to rock with that, rock with it. But I want some hard facts and evidence that our people were from there. All right. So I'm going to open up with this. I'm going to share my screen. Go ahead, James.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, man. And I hope people don't react to it the way a lot of these other brothers react to it and just want to go into rhetoric wars and disrespecting. Like, let's keep it on the information, because that's what we here for. We want to see what information y'all can bring to the table to refute this. When he
presentation, the channel will be open. Come on through, argue it, debate your cause, show us that you know what I'm saying, you can stand on what you talk about. If not, then we don't need to hear from you no more.
Right. Yeah, that is a no true Scotsman. Yeah. Hey, that's a fact, James. That's a fact. We want to actually hear from you guys live. Like, all this back chat chatter and all of this Facebook social media talk. I'm not going to engage with you too much on social media, on Facebook and stuff like that. I'm not. I might say 2 or 3 things. I'm going to let you have it because I understand you ain't got no testicular fortitude to stand on those things that you're saying anyway. You ain't been battle tested, you know? So if anybody want to debate this topic, about did we arrive to West Africa first or were we always there, I am open to debate this live on the source. Live on the source. Any of you goofy niggas out there that would like to debate us being in West Africa, I will debate you on that, and we can have that debate here on the source. You understand? If not, continue to watch. All right, I'm gonna open up. I'm going to open up with the first article I want to go into. And I know this article is going to rub people the wrong way, especially pro-African people that think that we got something to do with deep history and time in Western Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. All right. Know how y'all guys get down. So let me open this source up. I believe this is it here. Let's see, ancient West African foragers. Here we go. Ancient West African foragers. And we're going to read the abstract on this paper. And really the abstract, what the abstract says is enough to really kill any of this nonsense. All right, so the article is Ancient West African Foragers in the Context of African Population History. So we're dealing with African population history here. You understand? David Reich was a part of this research. Mark Lipson was a part of this research, and many other geneticists were a part of putting this paper together. All right. And we go down to the abstract. It says, our knowledge of ancient human population structure in sub-Saharan Africa, particularly prior to the advent of food production. Why is that important? Food production comes in with what? Agriculture. Who brought in agriculture? If you've been watching and following our shows, we know that haplogroup E is responsible for bringing in agriculture into Africa, right? Prior to that event, when we came in and did that, right, remains limited. There's little information about it. Here we report genome-wide DNA data from 4 children, 2 of whom were buried approximately 8,000 years ago and 2 3,000 years ago from Shumlaka, Cameroon, one of the earliest known archaeological sites within the probable homeland of the Bantu language group. One individual carried the deeply divergent Y chromosome haplogroup A00. which today is found almost exclusively in the same region. However, the genome-wide ancestry profiles of all 4 individuals are most similar to those present-day hunter-gatherers from Western Central Africa, which implies that the populations in Western Cameroon today, as well as speakers of Bantu languages, here's the point, from across the continent, are not descended substantially from the population represented by these 4 people. So these 4 ancient Africans in West Sub-Saharan Africa, the modern Western Africans, majority of them, and across the continent, by that way, are not descended from these people. We've been telling y'all that. All Africans are not the same. There are different lineages. We share different lineages, right? We come from haplogroup E. These people come from A and B. We are not them, and they are not us. They are the ones that are originally were in Western Sub-Saharan Africa and Cameroon, Nigeria, and those places. We were not there yet. It says, we infer an Africa-wide phylogeny that features widespread admixture in 3 prominent radiations, including one that gave rise to at least 4 major lineages deep in the history of modern humans. So what is a radiation? Radiation is just a spread. Anything that radiates spreads. So a spread of people, right? So let's get to the haplogroups. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. As you can see, these are the 4 children that they dug up. And you can see these are, I believe, 3 males, 1 female. The first one died around 5 years old. The second one died around 15 to 18. The other one was 8 to 10, and the female was about 5 years old. The first 2 is from about 8,000 years ago, according to this article, and he belongs to haplogroup B, not our ancestor. These are the original inhabitants of Sub-Saharan Africa. The second one, around the same period, around 8,000 years ago, a male, belongs to A00, not our ancestors. We do not come from these people. This is why we classify them as Hamites. These are a separate group of what we call Black Africans, right? Separate group.
I would add that A00 is found amongst some African Americans, but that does not mean we all have the same in common ancestors. You know what I'm saying? A00, like he said, from our ancestral tradition would come from Ham and his descendants, while we have E, which we say come from Shem and his descendants.
Right, exactly. Now the other ones was around 3,000 years ago, were B2B, and of course the female's not going to have a Y chromosome. She just has an mtDNA, which is L1. But the men of her clan most likely were either haplogroup A or haplogroup B, according to this data.
Yeah, L1 runs around with haplogroup A and B, just like L3 runs around with E1, B1A.
Right. So everyone has, you guys all seen the article, you've seen the Y chromosomes, and then we're going to get into some sources about when did we start penetrating West Africa. But I wanted to establish the first inhabitants of West Africa were not our ancestors. The earliest evidence of that is these A and B haplogroups, and they were there prior to anything. Royal Prince says, just like Americans, all Americans are not the same. Exactly. Africa's a huge continent. I don't know, how do you make everybody in this continent be the same people? I don't understand that. Dietrich said, I'm watching y'all family, just double verifying notes. Byron Israel said, are we Sephardic? And I never said every Negro is Sephardic, but we can go into history and see Negroes within the Sephardim. Yeah, hit that like button. I want you guys to hit that like button. So we're going to get into some source material dealing with when West Africa was inhabited by our people. Because a lot of people say, well, we don't want to listen to you. You pseudo blah, 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 because you've been told that we have been in these places forever. But again, I invite you to debate this information on the source. I invite you to come and provide any counter arguments here on the source. I will drop the link. If anybody disagrees with anything I'm saying right now, I will drop the link and you will get the floor and you're allowed to pose your counter argument, your antithesis to my thesis. All right. So now we're going to open up the Oxford Handbook of African History and see African archaeology rather, and see what that book has to say about this, about the peopling of Africa. Because you know what happens? A lot of these people are surface level thinkers. They don't go too deep into these topics. They don't read any source material on this. They just go and regurgitate information they may have heard from Dr. Ben or what have you, or these idiots on the conscious, you know, the Sonetta TV and stuff of that nature. Why don't we see you doing deep studies on the claim that you bring out? If you're saying that we were always in West Africa, I would like to see some empirical evidence. Can it withstand empirical scrutiny? Because again, we brought out on this show before, DE matured where? In Arabia, India. So if it matured there, that's our father group.
You know what's funny about this, man? That they've been getting beat over the head with this information so much that now, Joshua, they'll go ahead and admit that there was Jews that came into Africa, but those Jews were white people.
Look, I won't even argue with them. Let's say they're white. They got our DNA. Now what? Because you got white people today, like the Coomber family, that's E1B1A, and they look like white Europeans. I covered that on my channel. Well, I'm glad you said that too. I'm going to pull this article up to show that you have E1B1A in Iran 10,000 years ago. So remember, we brought up the DNA about the haplogroup A and B being around 8,000 years ago, according to that scientific paper we just read by David Reich and others in Cameroon and sub-Saharan Africa. And that's the oldest they have right now. But 10,000 years ago in Iran, in Pakistan, you have E1B1A. So why is this not getting any coverage? Why is nobody talking about this? And then 7,000 years ago, you got E1B1A in Corsica, right outside of Italy. Why is nobody talking about this? But then you got idiots like George Joe Brown. They listen to the idiots. Garfield saying, oh, well, haplogroup E was stuck in Africa for 10,000 years. Then why do we see it outside of Africa? These are the questions that these guys are not going to attempt because they're pushing an agenda and pushing a narrative, and they don't want to get around that, man. They want to keep the lie going, as they say. All right, let me share my screen before I get into this book. I want y'all to see this DNA coming from Iran. Watch this. Here it is. This is from the Apricity Forum, but it's going over the BioRxiv paper, and the paper was the genetic formation of South and Central Asia. All right, I'm going to read the abstract. It says the genetic formation of Central and South Asian populations has been unclear. Let me put James back in here. Y'all probably can't see that. Let me blow it up for you guys so you guys can actually see what I'm reading, right? So in this paper, it's very interesting because it talks about them examining over 300 bodies and extracting DNA from them. And it's very interesting what they found from this DNA. It says the genetic formation of Central South Asian populations has been unclear because of absence of ancient DNA. To address this gap, we generated genome-wide data from 362 ancient individuals, including the first from Eastern Iran, Turan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Tajikistan.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you, man, but you already starting to disprove some of. But man, I just gotta share this real quick, man. Look at this, man.
What's up?
There's a typo. Read that, man.
Hey, Shinobi God, look, this is an open platform. Maybe you can explain what you meant by that. I'm going to drop the link when I get finished reading here, and you can explain what you meant.
Yeah, but it needs an explanation.
Yeah, maybe you can expound on what you meant. Our people came to West Africa from the Americas due to slavery. Maybe you from Aboriginal power and them cats, but I'm gonna let you get your time to shine here in a minute. Let me finish reading this half.
Man, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I saw a transatlantic slave trade that went from America to Africa. Man, I'm maybe I missed that.
Yeah. You're right. We're gonna let him say what he meant first before we go into that bag of tricks. All right. So,
Slovakia, man, because I already know you was already going in. And you know, some of this stuff, man, we got to cut it out, people. We got to cut it.
This is what I'm gonna say to that. If we got DNA in Iran, how could it be true what you're saying? And we do have DNA in Africa. We're not denying that we were in Africa, but there was a conquest that happened, just like there was a conquest of Canaan. We took over Africa. That's what happened. Our ancestors took over Africa, and the original inhabitants of those regions, like AM13 was huge in the Nile Valley. A lot of people don't know that. AM13 was huge in the Nile Valley, about in the Neolithic times, the Stone Age times. It wasn't until recent that you start seeing introgress into those areas. So we started coming in, and we came in strong. Ahia Be Praised says Dane Galloway's in the house. Yeah, Dane Galloway be teaching that, man. But I'm gonna let the brother come on and speak. D3 for y'all.
It's not hard to come to a bunch of hunters and gatherers that's out there scavenging and stuff when you come in with cattle and farming.
Right, you come with cattle and farming. You got metal tools. You got advanced weaponry. It's easy to get rid of them. D3 for y'all says they was in the Middle East.
They 3 feet tall.
Yeah, some of them are very short. They was in the Middle East and moved to Africa, as that was Israel's common choice, as from the Babylonians, so also from the Romans. That's what D3 for y'all says. Let me get back into the article, man. He threw a monkey wrench. Brother threw a big monkey wrench in there, man. All right, so the article is from BioRxiv. But I'm using this forum because they have all of the supplemental data in the forum, and I want to go to the supplemental data. A lot of times when you go into these genetic articles, they're not going to have the haplogroups listed in the article. You have to go to the supplemental material.
Hey, the supplemental material may tell you something they ain't even talking about in the article. Whole bunch of the information on the topic. I get a lot of my information, like all those grave sites I found throughout Europe. That was found in the supplemental information. It's not found in the article itself. So you have to read everything in the article, not cherry picking.
Exactly. It says, all right, so I'm going to start from the top again for anybody that just got on. We're reading about the genetic formation of South and Central Asia. The genetic formation of Central and South Asian populations have been unclear because of an absence of ancient DNA. To address this gap, we generated a genome-wide data from 362 ancient individuals, including the first from Eastern Iran, Turan, which is Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Tajikistan, Bronze Age Kazakhstan, and South Asia. Our data revealed a complex set of genetic sources that ultimately combined to form the ancestry of South Asians today. We document a southward spread of genetic ancestry from the Eurasian steppe, correlating with archaeologically known expansion of pastoralist sites from the steppe to the Turan in the Middle Bronze Age around 2300 to 1500 BCE. These steppe communities mixed genetically with peoples of the Bactria Margiana archaeological complex, or BMAC, whom they encountered in Turan, primarily descendants of early agriculturalists of Iran. but there is no evidence that the main BMAC population contributed genetically to later South descendants of early agriculturalists of Iran. Asians. Instead, steppe communities integrated farther south throughout the second millennium BCE, 2000 BCE, and we show that that they mixed with a more southern population that we documented at multiple sites at outlier individuals exhibiting a distinctive mixture of ancestry relating to Iranian agriculturalists and South Asian hunter-gatherers. You understand? And that's what we got to point out about this distinctive mixture of ancestry. Watch this. We call this groups the Indus periphery because they were found at sites in cultural contact with the Indus Valley civilization, or the IVC, and along the northern fringe, and also because they were genetically similar to post-IVC groups in the Swat Valley of Pakistan. By co-analyzing ancient DNA and genomic data from diverse present-day South Asians, we show that Indus periphery related people are the single most important source of ancestry in South Asia, consistent with the idea that Indus periphery individuals, consistent with the idea that Indus periphery individuals are providing us with the first direct look at the ancestry of peoples of the IVC, and we develop a model for formation of the present-day South Asians in terms of temporarily and geographically proximate sources of Indus periphery-related steppe and local South Asian hunter-gatherer-related ancestry. Our results show how ancestry from the steppe genetically linked Europe and South Asia in the Bronze Age, and identifies population that almost certainly was responsible for the spreading of Indo-European languages across much of Eurasia. All right, so that's the abstract and introduction to this paper. Now we're gonna get into the supplementals. Here's the haplogroups here. This is what they found, and I'm gonna get right to it. Of course, they got R, U, K, and T. That's what you expect to see in this area, right? Around Iran and Pakistan and stuff of that nature. But what do you don't expect to see here? According to you brothers that push this African pro-African that we always was in Africa, why do we have right here E1B1A found where? In Turkmenistan. Around what time? The second millennium BCE, around 2000 BCE. Why do we find that? Almost 3,600 years before present, we find E1B1A in Turkmenistan. If we were stuck in Africa, if we were always there, why do we find this here 3,600 years ago? Can anybody that may be in the chat that's watching, that's, from the African conscious community, can explain to me why?
Screenshot right there. Hold up, man. Go back down, man. Damn.
You say you want to screenshot it?
Yeah, that's fire right there. I'll hold you up.
Come on, man. This is why, again, these people don't want to debate this at all.
Facts.
They don't want to debate this, man. You want to push these lies about all Africans are the same, that E1B1A never left Africa, or haplogroup E never left Africa. We can have those debates here on the source, man. And again, my stance is always going to be evidentiary. It's going to be based on evidence. Your stance is off Dr. Henry Clark. Right now, somebody probably mad and pissed off watching this. They mad. How you gonna get mad at the information, bro? Let me find the other one. See, we got a lot of R1B. There's another E1B1A individual in here I want to bring out as well. I think they mad at us, man. I think they mad. Yo. Hey, so my question to the people that push this line that we always were trapped there in Africa is to explain why do we see these groups in Pakistan, Turkmenistan, and Iran. and Goldmer and places of that nature. Let me get the other one. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna find it. It's a lot of text blared on here. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna control F E1 E1A. It's one of them right here. This is the Belt Cave, Mesolithic. This is E1B1A. This is a clay from E1B1A in the Belt Cave, Mesolithic, meaning the Middle Stone Age, around 12 to 8,000 BCE in Iran. Why do you have E1B1A there? Why do you have a clade of E1B1A in the Belt Cave in Iran? Can anybody from find that up?
Don't worry, brother. They gonna tell you it's because of the slave trade.
12,000 years ago?
Hey, that's what I was told. I brought up something from 700 BCE. They told me it was because of transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic slave trade. Champion shoot what? 1500. You remember 2,400 years later?
It was a slave trade we didn't know about that happened 14,000 years ago. Oh shit, man!
In the far south, West Asia.
Right. Here's another one in Turkmenistan, E1B1A. You can clearly see it right here, and this is around the same period, about 4,000 years ago. All right, the Belt Cave. We saw that one. All right, so that's it on that. So I just want people to explain this. And you know what's crazy is they never studied this before because there was a gap in South Asian ancestry, and they dug up these 362 these human remains and was able to get DNA from it, and they found E1B1A amongst them in Turkmenistan and Iran. Come on, man. What are we talking about here?
Your black ass was in Africa, all right?
Right.
Hey, they won't be able to find any bones that old with E1B1A in Africa, but that's where you was at because that's what they were told when they was growing up.
Right. We can't find any bones in Cameroon and Nigeria that has the DNA of E1B1A 10,000 years ago, but I can find the shit in Iran. Come on, man.
Hey, that's weird, but you know, hey, according to them, that's just a fluke. Don't worry, DNA ain't a perfect science yet. That's what they're gonna start saying in a minute.
Yeah, right. They were riding on DNA 10 years ago. Now they want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about DNA. I want to talk about now, Rob Bourne.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about DNA. Let's talk about culture. Wait a minute. A person can have one DNA and switch to a whole nother culture. You're gonna keep his DNA, right? Can't change that. But he can change his culture. Shoot, our ancestors wasn't American, bro. They wasn't doing American stuff. They didn't have American ways, which is one of the reasons why the people in West Africa kind of distance themselves from us as black or quote unquote African Americans here, because they say we're not African. We don't do nothing African. We're Americanized. So you're gonna say you're not African no more, you're an American?
Right. I got another article for him, James. I got another one. I want them to explain this.
Hey, we know we got articles because we do something special, Jashu, that nobody else in the community does. We read.
Right. Something you gotta beg these niggas to do.
Yeah, you gotta beg. Look, you'll give them 2 or 3 articles showing them you right. They still won't read it.
Right. All right. This is from Plus One. You know what I'm saying? You know, Garfield kind of scarred up from Plus One because that's when we read the other one about the Jewish ancestry that you brought up to him.
Yeah.
You know, when he hear Plus One, he probably wake up in cold sweats.
Hey, it's something beautiful about Plus One, right? Say if you wrote something. Plus One is a peer review platform where anybody, mainly with a PhD, can get their stuff peer reviewed. But it's also a way that it's possible that a normal everyday person, if you got a good enough argument laid out, can get his stuff peer reviewed by PhD, and it's open publication. So as soon as they peer review it, people come by and say, okay, I can see this. This is true. These sources are correct. Then it gets put out as a peer review article.
Right, exactly. Watch this. This gonna piss them off even more. I brought this out before. This is the prehistoric migrations through the Mediterranean basin shaped correspond Y chromosome diversity. What does diverse mean? It's different. All right, we go get.
Yeah, make sure you explain them big words like diversity and you know.
You gotta point stuff like that out because it's a there's a disinformation out there that any region has the same amount of DNA and the same DNA in any region. So if we go to Italy, we should expect to see the same DNA. Africa, we see the same DNA.
Yeah,
That's
like
not
the world
true.
was homogenous or something.
Right. There is no homogeny, man. There's many places in the world where diversity shows, especially in ancient times.
And one more thing. See how we use words like homogenous? That's how you know we actually read the data that deals with the topic, because these people use regular everyday terminology trying to talk about it, and that's how you know when they just making something up. Because they don't even use the terminology that applies. If you read it, you're gonna naturally start using that terminology.
Right. Check this out. Haplogroup E, mainly represented by E1B1B V13, display intermediate frequencies in Corsica compared to Tuscany and Provence. E1B1B V13 was thought to have initiated a pan-Mediterranean expansion 7,000 years ago, starting from the Balkans. Keep that in mind. This is 7,000 years ago from the Balkans. And its dispersal to the north shore of the Mediterranean basin is consistent with the Greek Anatolian expansion to the western Mediterranean.
Yep, they brought agriculture in there.
Characteristics of the region surrounding Ilaria and consistent with the most recent common ancestor estimated in Corsica for this haplogroup. A few E1B1A V38 chromosomes are also observed in the same regions as V13.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that there was black people outside Africa?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Man, I'm getting blown away, bro. Because these Afrocentrics been telling me the whole time that the Europeans right. My black ass ancestors been stuck in Africa. They never left. They didn't help with creating civilization or nothing. We was out up and down, jumping in the bushes and swinging from trees.
Right. Right, man. And they said that E1B1A traveled with V13, and we know V13 pretty much ripped all through Europe, man. Went to Germany, went to Bulgaria. They went all over West Africa. Western Europe, Spain. They went all over. V13 did. They're saying that E1B1A was a part of this expansion. That's what they're saying. So you cannot stick E1B1A. You cannot stick our clade in Africa and make them stay in Africa just because it fits your stupid narrative. You know, Ahaya B. Praise says, where's Garfield and Ngozi? They be pushing that pigeonhole theory that E1B1A evolved in sub-Saharan Western Africa and never migrated anywhere. But
Wait a minute, Ngozi told you when we was on there. Remember, he brought up the article about E not even being in West Africa until about. Yeah, he brought that article up. So
he said it wasn't there until about 4,000. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
and we're gonna touch on that. The brother said that they never migrated anywhere, but yet was found in ancient Turkey and the Stone Age Iran. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why do we see it in ancient Turkey, Stone Age Iran? Why do we see it there if it never left? And why do we see it in Corsica? Why are these geneticists saying, well, hey, E1B1A was with V13 when they migrated into Europe? Why are they saying
it's in the Near East, is in Europe, and is in Africa? It sounds like it's all over the world.
Exactly.
So we're trying to bottle us into one place when we have been all over the world.
Yep.
Why do you think they did the transatlantic slave trade to different places in the world? Why? Because you want to amalgamate slaves with the population that's there that you're trying to conquer and turn them into slaves as well.
Yep. A lot of this information they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that haplogroup E came from Asia too. They don't even want to hear that it originated in Asia.
Who
They don't
would
even
be
wanna hear that.
proud that their haplogroup was at the foundations that brought about civilization? Who wouldn't want to claim that?
Come on.
Especially when it's true.
Come on. Our ancestors did that. EP2, we brought that out. EP2 brought in agriculture, brought in language, the predecessors to the Afro-Asiatic language. That comes from us.
But nah, they want you to believe you was in Africa, swinging from trees and humming and shit.
Speaking in the click language.
Yeah, speaking in click languages and shit. Man, you couldn't form a click language if you tried. Yo, black ass, yo, pastoralist ass, couldn't click if you wanted to.
Right. Yeah, man. So, next time they say something like that, or how you be praised, just tell them to explain, like you said, ancient Turkey, Stone Age Iran, ancient Corsica. Explain why do we have our ancestors' DNA in these regions. Explain Ramesses. When I took my 23andMe DNA, it says it's on Garfield's DNA as well. You and Ramesses III share a paternal ancestor that may be from North Africa or Western Asia. It didn't say sub-Saharan Africa.
Didn't even choose there, huh?
Those not the options.
Hey,
Either North Africa.
Where E1B1A is found at, it won't say sub-Saharan Africa. Even in the old literature, it would tell you that it was at least Northeast Africa or the Levant area.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
Like my brother say, y'all just love that antiquated information. Y'all still reading Dr. Ben and shit. And I don't knock back Dr. Ben, like I always say, for his time period, because that's all he had to work with. But it's 2020. We got new DNA articles restructuring DNA of the whole ancient world. Y'all ain't read none of this, but want to argue with us about the DNA of the ancient world. Crazy.
Hey, what more can I say? Like Jay-Z said. All right, now we're going to get into this book real quick, and then I'm going to put the link in the back chat, and I want to see if anybody wants to oppose this information and they want to add. You're free to do so. I got about 30 viewers in here. I'm going to put the link out there. We're going to let you guys come in, tell us that we're wrong, or, whatever, add commentary, whatever. We're going to allow that to happen here on this platform like you always see. Yesterday, G-Con came on. He slipped and fell on his own sword, but he came on.
He tried. You know what I'm saying? I'll at least give him that. He tries.
This man came on record and said, well, it ain't about DNA. It's about you're only a Jew if you accept the faith.
Yeah, it's all about faith. Even though Abraham was promised to his seed, not including another one of his seeds, Ishmael, which is his literal son, was excluded. But all these other Gentiles can get in that ain't related to Abraham whatsoever. Insanity.
Yeah, man. Another crazy statement that he made is that the white people are more Jews than we are because they keep the culture.
Look, man.
So I guess the Bible didn't say that we would lose our culture and everything like that. We just gonna negate that.
Nothing about losing the culture or our land or our tongue. It didn't say nothing about that. It just, if you keep the culture, you're a Jew.
I've never seen that verse, but if he introduces it to me, I'll gladly accept it.
I know, but I know a verse I did see. Revelations 2:9. Those that say they are Jews are not Jews, but are the synagogue of Satan. I do remember that one.
Were they talking about spiritual or were they talking about actual Jews?
Right. Those that say
that claim they want to be spiritual Jews. Go ahead.
Look, we covered that, what you just said yesterday. Oh, they practice the culture. Garfield said the same thing. You got to be real Jews. We got documents of them practicing the culture.
Ooh.
All right.
Hey, I got documents of Greeks practicing Egyptian culture. Are they the real Egyptians?
Thank you. Come on, man. Bring it out.
Hey, bring it out. All I got to do is bring up what's his name? What was the dude ran with Julius Caesar? His dude who killed him? Not Brutus. Man, I can't think of his name.
I thought you were gonna bring up Ptolemy. I thought you were gonna bring up him.
It does involve the Ptolemy because you got to remember the Ptolemy dynasty daughter Cleopatra, which is pure Macedonian. People try to act like she black or something like that. They think it may be a black person in her ancestry. They don't know. That's just what they think. But she's pure Macedonian. They practice the Egyptian culture according to them to the T.
hold up, James. What about the the Greek expansion where they were forcing people to practice their culture, the Greek?
Hey, look, I'm gonna take
The Hellenization, yeah.
Hey, look, the Greeks are the originals. You want to know why? Because because the Egyptians made Alexander the Great a god. That's why. Right? When you make a human being your god, that's who you worship. That's who you look up to. So forget it. The Greeks are the ancestors of Egypt. Forget it. Spiritually speaking, since Alexander the Great is the son of Amun-Ra.
Right.
Let's say spiritually speaking, because they say spiritually speaking when it comes to Jews. Well, we only talking about spiritually. You just convert to be a Jew. Now you're a damn Jew.
Man, listen, because I'll never take credit for the man's work. The young phenom Jashu broke down Edith Bruder's work. One thing that was profound in her writings was when she separated the Talmudic practices from pre-exilic Israel, distinguishing between those that could be considered converts in Africa versus those that had pre-exilic practices that could not be converted or could be considered converted based upon their pre-exilic practices. I thought that was a powerful point, Joshua. Talk to
me. Man, pretty much, man. Rephrase it, brother. I'm sorry. Rephrase it.
Yeah, well, when we was reading over the Edith Bruder book, when she was breaking down the difference between Judaism being practiced as a form of Talmudic practices.
Got you.
Versus pre-exilic practices that was being practiced in Africa.
Right. They weren't even accepting, like a lot of those African tribes didn't even accept the new Talmudic practices because they felt that the practices they have were more pure.
Right.
A lot of those tribes they looked at their practice as being the authentic Jewish practice. That's why a lot of them don't convert, because it's like, listen, we already got this. You don't got to come over here and tell us and give no instruction manual and the goddamn cheese and your damn what's that little thing?
Then Eldad the Danite in his historical writings talks about that before this ever happened, that there were Jews that was down there. They didn't have Jeremiah, they didn't have Lamentation, they didn't even have Ezra and stuff. They just pretty much had the Pentateuch. And they were following those commandments and living that way. And that was well before any Ashkenazi would have came down there in Africa to teach anybody anything. And the people in Morocco even made Eldan the Danite do an ancient Levite ritual to prove that he was an Israelite. So he proved he was an Israelite to the people in Morocco who recorded it in their own writings. And then he mentioned Israelites who had an
Hey, James, you cut out. You cut out, James.
Across the Sahara. Oh, I'm still gone?
No, you back on now.
Okay, yeah. I was just going to mention that he mentioned that they had a 200+ day journey by foot empire across the southern Sahara.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's ancient attestation to them being there, but they don't want to accept that. Just because you don't want to accept it don't mean that the paper didn't say what it said. The right didn't say what it said. So, yeah, that's a fact. And if you go into a lot of those ancient, like Ouagadougou and stuff like that, they have external origins. They say they come from outside of sub-Saharan Africa. They don't say they originated there. They say they come from outside of it. And the material culture backs it up. The glass beads backed it up. The fact that these guys have bananas. Bananas is a Western Asian crop. Coconuts, Southwestern Asian crop. The pigeon seed, the pigeon peas, Southwestern Asian crop. Why do they have all this Southwestern Asian crops in Africa? And we know it was alien to Africa to about 4,000 years ago.
Hey, Joshua, I just sent you something, man. I want you to screen share it when you get a chance because I was on I was in the clubhouse and this guy had a yarmulke on. And I said, yo, man, what it was a brother. I said, yo, man, what is you doing with that on your head, man? You know, this dude cussed me out so bad. It was just funny. So I'm just sitting there listening. I said, well, listen, can you show me that in scripture anywhere in the Bible, man? Cricket, man. So I want you to
Thank you. What's this?
get a chance, man, because again, examples of pre-exilic practices versus Talmudic practices.
Hey, I'm a screenshot it. My bad, man. Hold on. Let me read this first, then I'm gonna get into that, right? Because we wanted to talk about just because somebody practices a coaching. I covered this yesterday, but the video was 6 hours, so maybe everybody forgot. So in the book Genetics of African Populations by Ibrahim Munteza, which is a Sudanese geneticist, by the way, master geneticist. We're using the best information here. The majority of people now speaking a given language or practicing a particular religion. In this sense, we're talking about Judaism, right? In some sense, a cultural phenomenon or who are making particular artifacts may not be genealogically the closest to or the same as the founding population. So what does that mean? This because you see people practicing the culture today. Oh, we see Ashkenazi Jews practicing the culture, so they got to be the real Jews. Does not mean they are the original people that brought in that culture. Just like James so eloquently put it when he brought out that you had the Ptolemaic dynasty practicing and keeping Egyptian customs. That does not make them the ancient Egyptians that brought forth those customs to begin with in the pre-dynastic, early dynastic periods. But you make these silly arguments and assertions because you have no empirical data to back up anything you're saying anyway. So you come with these crazy notions. All right, so we prove that just because somebody has a certain culture, upholds a certain culture, doesn't make them the original population. Jeremiah, you wanted me to show the yarmulke?
Yeah.
All right, let me share that and bring that out.
Yeah, man, because again, when you're looking at certain arguments that are being made for Africa, the reason they're saying that Black Jews exist is simply because of conversion, right? So how do you identify Talmudic practices? Here's an example. You can read that for us,
All right.
All of it.
I'm trying to make it bigger. I can't. All right, so I'm just going to read it. It says, from where did the practices of the wearing of the kippah or yarmulke develop? The Old Testament is silent on the wearing of the kippah or skull cap. It is also nowhere found in the New Testament. So if the kippah is absent from the Bible, how was it adopted? The tradition likely goes back to the Greek cultures. Antiochus Epiphanes, Seleucid emperor, made it that the personal goal to force the Greek culture upon all of his empire, including the Jewish people. That is what motivated the Maccabean revolt and the rise of the Hasmonean Empire in the year 175 BCE. Jason of the Oniad family was appointed high priest, as recorded in 2 Maccabees 4, 7, and 17. He favored the Greek culture and vigorously sought to incorporate Antiochus' policy of assimilation.
See that? So that's coming from my brother King Seth's favorite course, Britannica.
Facts. Yeah, man. So let me read some comments. R.E.A. Nassier said, regarding the intercontinental travel for the E-clay you all were just previously speaking about, it's interesting to note the research of the Brazilian archaeologist Nieves Guidon. She connected African Melanesians and Australoids as being the first inhabitants of South America. BBC did a show on it, but it was met with disdain by greater academia. The E-clade was seen to have traveled the world as the Bible states. Now, you have to be cautious with that because the Australoids and Melanesians, they're like Q, M haplogroups. They're not our haplogroup.
Exactly.
I'm open to the idea that E made it here. There's just no genetic proof of that I've seen personally.
Hey, and I would say this. I was actually, because this is one of the things that I heard them talk about, that the campus talk about, that these Oceanians and different folks are descendants of Japheth. I didn't particularly believe that until I seen a Samoan oral tradition, which pretty much a Samoan historian pretty much said, well, he thinks that the Samoans are actually the ancient Minoans that was there. And then when you see what their haplogroup is, it falls right in line with the other CF haplogroups that descend from Japheth. I was actually blown back because I was like, man, now I think they stretching it. I really thought they was reaching, trying to say that those people were the descendants of Japheth, but the DNA is starting to show that to be true.
Yeah, I mean, and then the the nomenclature, the Java people coming from Javon, that could be very well be true. So it's just a lot of stuff with that, man, and that was huge, man. I remember we were first talking about that. You brought that to my attention a couple of years ago. Yeah, that's huge. But those people, like James just brought out, those people would primarily be Japheth. I'm open for haplogroup E coming to America, but at this point, it's a pure hypothesis until we can get something out of the ground. We want to be fair across the board because we're talking about sub-Saharan Africa, Western sub-Saharan Africa. We're not being there. We're basing it on the fact that we don't have any genetic evidence of that. But we do have genetic evidence of us being in Iran, genetic evidence of being in Corsica, which is going to make the people that are so pro-Black, pro-African mad because they've been telling this lie that we have been stuck in this land forever, wearing thongs, wearing Neolithic thongs.
Yeah, leaf thongs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Tied up leaf thongs.
And chasing wild animals as hunters and gatherers and eating bugs and stuff on the brushes. That's what they've been telling us. But what they don't tell you is this: when our haplogroup came in, we turned that society from living in mud huts into permanent dwellings. We turned that society from hunter-gatherer into agrarian. We turned that society into small, separate little hunter-gatherer groups into meta populations. We made Africa great, goddammit. We should make a hat called Make Africa Great Again.
That's right.
Hey, they is asking us to come back and help rebuild it because they know we built it in the first place.
You know what I'm saying? Ouagadougou and all these places that y'all like to bring up, that's our ancestors who did that.
Exactly. Songhai Empire. I know the middleweight champion me supposed to debate this, but he gonna realize that empire was started by Israelites. Easy day.
Yeah.
Because when you go to the Gao Empire, which is the Gao Kingdom, which is the foundation of it, that was started by a Jew from Yemen.
Uh-oh. I don't think they want to hear that. I don't think they want to hear that, man. And here's the thing, James. And I had Rob Bourne admit this. I said the reason why you don't want to admit Jews being in West Africa and being integral to the civilization there is because you have a disdain for the Bible. You blame slavery. When you bring up slavery, the white man and all the oppression, you bring up the Bible. Oh, the Bible this, the Bible that. You upset with the Bible, so anything connected with it, you don't want your people being connected to it. Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
That's what all this Afrocentrism is. Hatred for the Bible. So let's find something else to replace it with.
Yep.
And you keep going to unsuccessful things because nothing has the galvanizing power that the Bible has. Nothing.
Right. I'm trying to pull this up when Ouagadougou and Songhai and all that started. That's that's fairly recent.
It's like Ouagadougou and all that is well, you're talking Songhai. I think that's like what, 12th century AD?
Yeah.
When you talk about the Gal, I think it was like 700 something like that AD. Like that, a lot of them empires that at least were around, shortly before the European invasion, were recent empires that had swallowed up a lot of small chieftains that had outside history.
Right.
But people should realize that. I mean, I've always been curious of what could have started the Bantu expansion to move them out of West Africa throughout the rest of Africa. Nothing ever made sense to me until I start realizing that, all right, there has been food producers moving in. There are these new empires that are popping up, in this region during this time. And if anybody studied North Africa, they would know Israelites were throughout North Africa, unquestionable in history. But what happened when the Romans came in and invaded and pushed them? Like when you talk about the Garamantes and like that, they pushed them further south. So what they're going to do? They're going to go down south with better weaponry, better war skills, better trade, because trade throughout the Mediterranean was far more extensive than trade within Africa, because them tribes really ain't talk to each other like that. They could bring a whole new enterprise into the region that would naturally form into empires, because when you get trade like that, and then when you get a society of people that's formed around an idea that are expanding, naturally an empire is gonna be formed.
Exactly. And you form the meta populations and everything. That didn't, and again, you can't give credence to that without bringing up our people.
Mm-hmm. And this is a simple question: when you go to war with a people, who do you first go in and take as captives? Is it the laymen, or do you go after their princes?
The princes.
Exactly. You go after the princes, the leadership. Why? Because if you can hold the leadership, you can keep them in line. So the first slaves over here, see, they tell you about the later slavery. Once the Europeans really got in there and turned it into an industry. But the first thing they went in there and did was remove the people who were ruling and took them into slavery, took their wives and children into slavery. So the first slaves that came over into America, they wasn't your typical just guy over there chilling in the bush of Africa, right?
Yeah, that's a fact.
Hey, James, it literally says that Deuteronomy 36, man. I'm gonna read that. Literally says that, man. It's Deuteronomy.
You know what I'm saying?
So like
when they went over there in Ethiopia and pretty much took over Ethiopia, why do you think the whole Haile Selassie family came over here into America in the Washington, D.C. area under their protection, quote unquote? Why? It's a way of keeping them in line. You got their princes and stuff over here.
Right. Let me read this real quick. It's Deuteronomy 28:36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone.
See, the scriptures reign true. That's why they hate them. They so caught up in the slave Bible and how Master taught them to view the Bible. They ain't even willing, like we already said earlier, shoot, they don't read. So they're not willing to open it up and read it for themselves. And see that it ain't telling you nothing like that. If you really went by what the Bible said, you'd be ready to go to war right now for your freedom.
Hey, how you open up your Kindle on your computer? Can you do that? I'm trying to open up my Kindle on here so y'all can see what I'm looking at.
Oh, I don't know. I've never tried. What kind of? Oh, you ain't got no iPhone. I was about to say you could share from your phone, but Android.
I got that Droid. I got a way of doing it though. I'm just gonna screenshot what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And the Ouagadougou really didn't become a civilization till about 1000 BCE, according to what I'm reading. Well, I wanted to bring out. You said what?
I think like the founding is like 700 though. You said Ouagadougou or Gao?
Ouagadougou.
Oh yeah, that's probably for Ouagadougou. I'm thinking Gao.
All right, watch this. Hold on. This is how I'm gonna do it. Send it to my Facebook, and then open it and share it on here. About because you know a certain individual, Rob Bourne, I'm just gonna say his name. He brings up Ouagadougou all the time. I'm like, why is you not talking about their testimony on where they come from?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna share my screen, and this is gonna touch on the topic. We didn't get the West African to much recently, right? Watch this. All right, so this is the legend of Ouagadougou. It says just like other peoples of sub-Saharan West Africa, the Soninke have their own ideas of what is important about the distant past. They prefer to emphasize things such as family rivalries, the heroic deeds of their ancestors, and their ancestral relationship with the spirit world. Excuse me. Real quick, I'm gonna sidebar on this. You know what the word Soninke means? Soninke means the people of Sonin. Sonin is actually in Aswan, Egypt. Now, Aswan is famous because it really was a repository for Asiatics.
Yep.
That's where you get the elephantine papyri, right outside of Aswan.
The temple of Yahweh that was in Egypt was made by Jews or Israelites. Let's say that.
These people are calling themselves Soninke, the people of Sonin. They come from Aswan, which was known for Asiatics. And they have a very interesting claim that I wonder why Rob Bourne don't really bring this out. You're always talking about Ouagadougou. Why not bring this piece of information out? Let me keep reading. The Soninke people ideas about their history are expressed in the legend of Ouagadougou. This is an oral tradition told by many generations of the Geseri, Soninke professional storytellers and musicians. Details vary from one version to the next, but the legend generally describes the origins and early deeds of different Soninke clans. The legend often begins by describing how the ancestor Dinga came from somewhere in the Middle East. This is what the legend says. Why is these people that's pushing this narrative about Ouagadougou not starting here? You know what I'm saying? Some say he stayed for a time at Jean, an ancient city that still exists on the Niger River, north of Bamako, the capital of modern Mali. Dinga later moved to the town of Dia in the inland delta of Niger. There he married and had 2 sons. They became Soninke ancestors in other towns of the Sahel. So they're saying their ancestors comes from somewhere in the Middle East. They're calling themselves the Soninke, the people of Sonin or Aswan, Egypt. That has history with being a repository for Asiatics, i.e. some Jews, right? That's what that has history with, and it's all tying together. All of this is tying together. It's congruent with what they're saying. Dinga's movement from place to place are the storyteller's way of explaining the presence of the Soninke population in various parts of the Sahel. Dinga is said to have eventually arrived at the place southwest of Nioro in today's Mali. When he arrived there, it was dominated by genies or spirits of the bush. Of course, it's going to have mythological implications in it, right? So the very versions of the legend describe a kind of magician duel. Blase, their sons became the ancestors of many Soninke clans. One clan was the Sise. It was the Sise that became the ruling clan of Ouagadougou. So these people are saying that they're not native or autochthonous to sub-Saharan Western Africa. They're saying they come from the Middle East, and their names imply that because they're called the Soninke, the people of Sonin, Aswan, and we know there's a history between those people of being Asiatics. All right. I wanted to bring my my actual Kindle up, but I don't know how to pull it up on my computer. Let me tell you what book that was. Let me let you know what book that was. That came from the book. Let me pull it up. The Great Empires of Medieval West Africa by David C. Conrad. That's the source on that. Gideon Yardine Yisra, I believe this is the brother from New York. He says Wakadu is even a Hebrew word. All right, well, bring it out, brother. Bring it out. Let me read some comments before I get into some more information. Aryeh Nassier says, also interesting note, Romans got most of their agriculture knowledge from Carthaginian Mongol after they conquered Punics. Blaze Hart says, I have ancestry in Yemen. What else was said? The sister says something about E. Aryeh Nassier says the article with E being found among 2 South American tribes is dissecting the pre-Columbian genomic ancestry of Native Americans along the Andes. Okay, I'm gonna check it out and see if it's Y-DNA-E and not mtDNA-E. I'm gonna have to check that out. Reason it caught my attention is that somewhat supports the theory of Naive Gideon on the story of Abu Bakr, Mansa Musa's predecessor. Yeah, but the thing about that Abu Bakr stuff, I hear Moors bring that up. Is it possible? Yes. I don't know how to prove it. That's why I kind of steer clear from that. Kings Musa. The one they call Lion King.
Hey, I say about what old girl said. I'm one who actually, I do think there may be some credence to that Abu Bakr II coming over here to the Americas. So I appreciate that source. I want to look at that source because I'm one who accept just based on the story that was told from the other side that the person who said that he turned back and came back because he said they all went into a river that was in the ocean, and that's one of the currents that would have led you right into the Caribbean area, down into South America. So I mean, just based on the story he's telling me, the natural destination if they went into that river that was in the ocean would have been the Americas, because that's where it would have took them.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Aryeh Nassier also said, regarding the Bantu expansion and agriculture introduction, it's important to note that their metallurgical iron working helped make that possible. Tools, weapons allow populations of land to expand. Exactly. Stuff like deforestation, tilling the land, it makes life a lot more easier, and your population is going to boom and grow for it because now you can do agriculture much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Also said Israelites were farmer warriors. I have ancestors in Yemen. I missed a comment. Hold on. I read that already. Gardon. Who is this? I'm trying to think of this brother's name. This Perry, ain't it? This Hebrew Perry. Ding Sisi, whose son is Daya Mina Yaman, and the Sisi people from Sudan. Brother Israel Grace says, we were sea people at the architect called for Western Hemisphere was inhabited by the Israelites, fishermen and herdsmen. All right, let's get back into this. All right. I'm going to read this. I'm going to open it up. You know what I'm saying? I know we did 6 hours yesterday. I ain't trying to do another 6. I'm just letting you know. But y'all gonna get this work, man. What the hell is this? Watch this. Now I'm gonna go here. Oh, now it don't want to work. I'm gonna open up this book right here, dealing with the agriculture. The Oxford Handbook on African Agriculture. Watch this. And we're gonna show and prove that we wasn't in West Africa, like we just said, until recently. All right, there we go. Y'all can see my screen? Let's get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
All
see
right.
it.
This is the Oxford Handbook of African Archaeology, Chapter 41, the Stone to Middle Age in West Africa. The term Stone to Middle Age, SMA, was coined by Pierre de Maret to describe a stage without metals, but with advanced technical traits such as ceramics, polished stones, and sometimes possible indication of food production, intermediate between the later Stone and Iron Age. All right, so I'm going to get straight to it, right? Some definitions of the Neolithic include farming in Africa. The defining artifacts appear long before any evidence for plant and animal domestication. Let me go straight to it. Right here. Here's the point. Page 799 to 800. It says during the mid Holocene, around 4500 BP, the climate changed abruptly, causing vegetation zones to contract and assume their locations. It's around this time that substantial evidence appears for human settlement of the southern parts of West Africa. Why is that huge? Because that goes in what we're talking about. They're pushing that we was in Western Africa for all this time, sub-Saharan Western Africa all this time, and before 4500 BP, the Green Sahara, having forests and savannas being expanded, most people were not able to penetrate that. That's why there wasn't that many people living there. So after this period is when it started to open up and people were able to travel. Right here it says, and it's around this time that substantial evidence appears for human settlement of the southern parts of West Africa. So why are these guys telling you that we've been there for eons? There's no proof of that. There's no evidence for that. All right, right here above that, it says people living in Sahara by hunting, gathering, fishing, and herding responded by locating their settlements closer and closer to the disappearing water sources, increasing their reliance on domestic crops, and eventually abandoned the Sahara altogether. It is around this time that substantial evidence appears for human settlement of the southern parts of West Africa. In West Africa, there is little evidence. Here you go. There's very little evidence for people south of the Sahara prior to the mid-Holocene. And such evidence that does exist is primarily of small, scattered groups of mobile hunter-gatherers. These are those A and B people. These are those people. We brought it up earlier in the beginning of the show. Some of whom return frequently, possibly even seasonally, to the same places. These earliest LSA sites date to around 12,000 BP and are dominated by chipped stone assemblages, primarily in quartz and often with geometric microliths. They are generally distinguished from an earlier, even less well-known Middle Stone Age by small size of their knapping debris, although a macrolithic aspect of the LSA also known. A number of these LSA sites are overlain by the SMA assemblages, recognizable by the appearance of groundstone tools and pottery dating to 5,000 years or later. So again, what do we want to bring out of this? The point is, in West Africa, there's no evidence of people south of the Sahara prior to the mid-Holocene. There's no evidence of it. So how the hell are we going to be there for eons if we don't even got no damn evidence of us being there or any people at that?
The hunter and gatherers wasn't even there.
Yeah, very small parse groups. And we got their DNA. They A and B. That's why I titled this video what I titled it. There's no evidence of it. Here it is right here. Davis and Shaw both argued that before the desiccation of the Sahara, not only were Saharan inhabitants not compelled to move southward, but it was virtually impossible for them to do so. Come on, man.
Yeah, because until you had the proper tools to clear out the thick vegetation that was there to even farm, which would require metallurgy, there wasn't no way you was moving south.
Right. Postulated barriers to human occupation in southern West Africa include difficulty of making a living in the dense rainforest prior to the advent of iron tools. Exactly what you just said. And potentially lethal diseases such as malaria, onchocerciasis, trypanosomiasis, the latter, and added a problem to herders because it can be devastating to cattle. Only when climate zones contracted could people, especially herders, move south. This
And
is
your
why I call it,
ancestors were herders. All right.
exactly. This is why we deem you guys as surface dwellers, man. Y'all don't do any deep studies. Y'all don't read this stuff. You just regurgitate information that you've been regurgitating for the last 10 years.
Or read Wikipedia. Never even click on an article that it quotes to actually get the in-depth knowledge in it. You just look at what Wikipedia say and say, see, it's true because Wikipedia says so. Even though I can go make a Wikipedia page right now.
Exactly. Look, watch this. It says the artifacts found at many early sites support a northern origin of SMA people in southern West Africa. Why is it saying that? Because again, what we just read, before the advent of iron tools, you could not penetrate into southern Western Africa. You could not do it. Projectile points are often in Saharan style with concave and convex bases, and pottery often bears combs, roulette impressions very similar to types known from the Sahara and the Nile Valley as early as the 10th millennium BP. Why are they bringing it up? They're saying these people are obviously from outside of this area, stretching all the way from the Nile Valley, coming from the north. Because nobody was living here. You had small parts hunter-gatherer groups, which were A and B. But other than that, it wasn't no large meta-population in sub-Saharan Africa like you guys think it was. That doesn't exist. It says the Holocene culture change in southern West Africa was due to successful migrations from the north, received little challenge for some decades. However, while the challenge change scenario appears neatly to explain the time and direction settlement south of the Sahara. All right, so let me get this other point I want, and we can wrap it up, and then we're gonna open up the chat, which is now early. Oh, right here. Most surprising, however, our recent finds in Jugu, Mali, the pottery from which is not only the earliest in southwestern Africa, but around 940 years BC, may be the earliest on the continent. Check this out. The very early pottery at all these sites, including Jogao, is found in small quantities, but is often sufficiently different from overlying ceramics to indicate it's not intrusive. The idea of ceramic versus ceramic LSA is challenged by these early dates for pottery, but after 4500 BP, that's the date we got earlier, before present, a significant increase in pottery throughout West Africa does suggest both larger and more settled populations. Larger and more settled populations. So they can tell by the pottery increase when people started peopling these areas very heavily. That's 4,500 years ago. That's not that long ago. That's around 2,500 BC. That's when you start seeing a large influx of people going into West Africa. I was trying to tell Rob Bourne that. The earlier dates thus imply that before then, people occasionally made pottery for specific purposes, and a significant factor in increased occurrence of pottery after 4,500 BC. It's most likely a change in condition that made it more advantageous to make and use it. All right. Right here it says not only would people have been making more vessels, but the longer duration of their stays would also have increased the amount of broken pottery in their settlements and thus their archaeological visibility. And that's how you can tell when people live there. The archaeological visibility, the stuff they leave behind, you can tell that it's a large population or settled population, sedentary people coming in. Before this period, you didn't have that. So where's the proof and evidence that we were there for eons, like they keep bringing out? All right. Let me see. Is there any more I want to bring out on this? Right here, from around page 804, from around 4000 BP, people in sub-Saharan West Africa increasingly settled down and created much larger sites with evidence for durable structures and increasingly density of artifacts. The Katampo complex, also known as the Katampo tradition or Katampo culture, is the earliest, best known settled SMA tradition. Again, this was only 4,000 years ago. This is when you start seeing these meta populations, these large influx of people coming into sub-Saharan Africa. You don't see it 10,000 years ago. You don't see it 15,000 years ago. So why are these people saying, well, E1B1A was here 10,000 years ago and they stayed there and remained into the slave trade? Why is that an argument? All right. All right, I'm gonna end it there, man. I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna open the chat up. Anything y'all want to add to what was brought out? I guess I'm the only one in here. D-Red,
No, you're not. I just ain't nothing to add.
All right, let me read these comments. I'm gonna open it up, and if y'all don't got nothing to add, man, we're gonna close out. Nobody don't want to come in, challenge no information.
Hold on, give him a little time to come in.
Yeah, so we provided proof from the archaeology of Africa that there is no evidence of no metapopulation or no large influx of people in sub-Saharan Africa. You had small hunter-gatherer groups there prior, and we got genetic evidence on what those hunter-gatherer groups would have been. They would have been A and B haplogroups, again, having nothing to do with majority of African Americans. Nothing at all. That's not our ancestry. We don't share that ancestry. We come from outside of that. And the proof is what we brought up earlier. E1B1A in Iran. E1B1A in Turkmenistan. E1B1A found in Corsica. E1B1A being a part of Ramesses lineage. And if you take a DNA test on 23andMe, they'll tell you share a paternal ancestor that either lived in North Africa or Western Eurasia. That's what we find. If you want to deal with dates, they found that DNA, they dated that DNA between 10,000, 8,000 years ago. That's when you see that E1B1A in Iran, in Mesolithic Iran. 7,000 years ago in Corsica. But we supposed to be trapped in Africa for 10,000, 15,000 years, didn't do no migration, didn't do no maritime trade, didn't do none of that. We were just stuck there with leaf thongs on, chasing animals in the damn forest. Anybody that want to oppose this information, click that link in the chat. Tell me I'm wrong. Show me how I'm wrong. Demonstrate it. We didn't get into West Africa until recently. All right, we got Zion, the war child, the warrior in the building. What's going on? Zion, you in the building?
Yeah, hold on. I gotta take my Bluetooth off.
Okay, all right.
Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, you clear. You clear.
Nah, I can't hear him.
Okay, hold on.
I can hear him clearly.
There you go.
Oh, you can hear him now?
Yeah. When he said, okay, hold on, I can hear him loud and clear.
R.A. Nassier says, what you just read really narrows down the introduction of Iron Tech to West Africa to E1B1A. That's huge. Exactly. That's the point. You don't get this iron metal urge into Africa until around what? 1,000 BC? That's what they estimate. This is
around 1,000 with the no culture.
Yeah. You start seeing these demic expansions coming into Africa, and these foreign people basically radiating
real
into
close
Africa.
to Carthage, who already had metallurgy. So it seems like there was some exchange of culture right there.
Right.
And we know that Egypt had been having trade routes going down into like Ghana since, like 1,000 BCE, going down there to get gold and different minerals and stuff going down. So they have actual tracks from chariots going down into the region and stuff around that time.
Yep. I'm waiting on somebody else. Somebody else click that link, man. It's kind of like altar call in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's altar call. Come on down to the altar.
So I'm not very versed in all of this. So I'm looking forward to hearing, you know what I'm saying, how the whole delineation breaks down. I'm taking notes, y'all.
Oh, we already went through it. The argument goes. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back.
All right, so the argument goes like this, Zion. Many people sit up on YouTube and social media saying that our DNA was trapped in West Africa for 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 years, didn't migrate outside of Africa, didn't move and settle nowhere else. But I proved with several articles that you have DNA, our DNA in Corsica. That's right outside of Italy.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that because, you know what I'm saying, like we were saying, you know what I'm saying, geographic regions and diversity of genetics is not stagnant. You know what I'm saying? So when people actually come at it like that, I do have an issue with that because there's always like transmigrations. There's always, you know what I'm saying, immigration going on. There's trade and stuff going on. And so, you know what I'm saying, genetics doesn't stay stagnant to one region. So to say that, you know, West Africa is just, there were no Israelite blood ties to this or whatever blood ties, you know what I'm saying, to that to me is absolutely absurd. So
Right. And we just read that until about 4,500 years ago, southern Western Africa wasn't even inhabited like that. You may have small fringe groups that were hunter-gatherer groups, but there was no large settlements in southern West Africa like Nigeria, Cameroon, and stuff of that nature until 4,500 years ago. We start seeing, we can see the pottery starting to pile up. So we can see people actually living here using this pottery, building these civilizations, early civilizations around 4,500 years ago. That's when you start seeing a large influx of people coming from the north, coming from the Nile, is during that time. So the people that's saying that we were stuck there and we was a static ethnicity, like, can y'all please come forth?
Hey, Jashu, pull up this article real quick. We read it before, but I think it'll just go good on the end of what everything you said. Carriers of mitochondrial DNA, macro haplogroup L3.
Yeah.
Basal lineage migrate back to Africa. It's gonna say from Asia around 70,000 years ago.
Right.
And I like the way this abstract form because it gives you the background of what they're doing, the results of the test, and the conclusion all right there in the abstract. So you ain't got it. If you're lazy and don't like to read like us, you can just read the abstract and get what's going on.
Yeah, like I said, we gotta beg these niggas. I got it right here. Let me share the screen.
Yeah, just read. All you got to read really is the results on there from the abstract.
Right, I got it right here. All right, here we go. You want the results?
Yeah, just the results part right there from the abstract right there.
All right, the correlation ages of all Eurasians, MN and African L3 lineages, both around 71,000 years ago, are not significantly different. The oldest M and N Eurasian clades are found in southeastern Asia instead near of Africa as expected by the southern route hypothesis. The split of Y chromosome composite DE haplogroup is very similar to the age of the mtDNA L3, and Eurasian origin and back migration to Africa has been proposed for the African Y chromosome haplogroup E.
That's it. The origins in Asia, it back migrated into Africa after it became haplogroup E. Well, DE. So I mean, they can't keep arguing that. You showed E haplogroup wasn't even in the region. They swear it's been there forever. This article shows it ain't even indigenous to African continent at all. So it's game over.
Facts. Where all the can we hey D-Red, can we get Rob Bowen in here? Maybe he can straighten us out. Is it something we got somebody? What's going on?
Lomi.
Shalom.
It's Clang. So listen, bro. You gonna sit on here.
Yeah, you out of here. You on some
bullshit.
I
already knew who that was.
Yeah,
you should have let him rock, man. You should have let him rock.
Nah, he on some bullshit.
Yeah, that Black Jesus minister, man.
Was it? Oh, was it? He'd have been
Yeah,
like,
that was
y'all
Black Jesus
Negroes.
Minister because he knew he wouldn't have got in under his regular name.
Oh,
man.
nobody want to deal with no bullshit, man. Like, come on, man. We dealing with academia right here. Can we deal with academia? That hard to ask for black folks? And
All right,
then he
so
came.
let me ask this question because maybe because I missed some of the time, so I don't want it to be redundant. But we're saying that what is the original haplogroups and the E? You're saying that the E delineated back into the African continent. Am I getting that right?
Well, the hypothesis originally was that they were in Africa. It became DE. Well, pretty much A00 came down in the D. A, then BT split into which BT you can't even find no examples of anywhere, but it split into what is it? B and CT, yeah, B and CT, and then CT splits into C. They were saying all that happened in Africa, and then the non-African lineages happened outside of Africa. But now they're finding even the African lineages of E will actually originate outside of Africa because they're not going away from the archaic humans all came out of Africa. They're talking about modern humans as we are today, not our more archaic ancestors. So Homo sapien sapien, like it came out of Africa, it was Homo sapien neanderthal. But Homo sapien sapien, which is what we are today, that right there came into its origin in Asia. And from my standpoint, I look at it as when God said he grabbed the dust of the earth to form Adam, he was talking about a lower being. And then he took that lower being and elevated it to an ability to do logic and reasoning and be more like the quote unquote image of God is.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You know what I'm saying? That theory actually, because I've said that too when I'm dealing with the dust of the earth, and you know how that also builds on DNA and microbial or you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I definitely feel that. So with the E haplogroups, we're saying that this developed in Asia, and going back to the like the prehistoric, you know what I'm saying, or the earlier developments of hominids. What haplogroups were those? Like the prior to Homo sapien and Homo sapien sapien. Because I heard you say something in the last discussion about the H, L, you know what I'm saying, I's and certain like a specific group. Like I think it was 5 letters that was specific to like
Yeah, a lot of
Belgium or
them
something
were
like that.
around before the last glacial maximum.
Yeah, I believe that was the discussion y'all was having, and you was talking about those specific groups that were like in H to J or something like that, and it was in Belgium or certain areas of Europe, right? So there's like these groupings, and then E is in a certain area. So I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I'm slow, man. I'm trying on this.
Nah, no problem. Pretty much what it is like I put the flood as it's told to be the last glacial maximum on the secular scale. So that happened like between 40 and 25,000 years ago. That's when it's supposed to take place, the last glacial maximum. So the areas of Europe where it said that Japheth's descendants went, all of those people descend from the macro haplogroup CF. All of the ones that were in the land of Shem, where he went, they descend from DE. The ones that were in Northeast Africa, they descend from AB. So that's kind of how we built our model based on the migration patterns of the humans after the last global climatic event involving water.
Right. That makes sense.
Hey, real quick, man. Joshua, you there?
Right here.
You got somebody trying to come in, man. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I'm making sure it ain't a troll, bro. God damn, like niggas don't want. All right, you in here? Who is this?
Nah, man, it's just Gideon, man. Shalom.
Oh,
What's going
Shalom,
on,
brother. Shalom. You had a
What's good?
LESJ Keys. I'm like, what kind of name is that?
Yeah, no, it's alias, but you know, I had to
okay.
hit the L, you know.
Hey,
But yeah, what's going on, brothers? How y'all doing, man?
We doing great.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. But yeah, man, that's some real deep stuff you saying, because that's what be getting me about these guys. I heard one brother, Sabio specifically, he was so proud to fall for the trick that he been in deep, dark Africa for 10,000s of years, and all he ever was able to do was get some loincloth in the Wilton Spirit. Like, these brothers is crazy. They be taking the Hermetic hypothesis and don't even know it. Like, they fall for that. And the Hermetic hypothesis is when you ascribe the Hamites to being Caucasoid. So that's what the Hamite hypothesis is. And I was the brother that was putting the information about Wagadu in the chat, because I just very recently came across that. When you look up the word Gideon, the word is Gadayan. In different forms of it, you're going to see Wagadu is one, and Wagadu is a verb. It means to strike at, to fail. And when you look at the kingdom of Wagadu, and then you look at the title that the Sanican kings had, which was Ghana, which meant warrior, I've seen a lot more words tied together with looser associations than that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I've seen scholars put, like, for instance, Amaru. They connected the Amorite off of that word. So just from that right there, you can see Gada being the word Ghana. And not only that, when you look at the last quote unquote Israelite kingdom in West Africa, it was the Simeon dynasty. And it was also named the Gideon dynasty because the king's name was Gideon. So once that empire dissolved, so to speak, you can see a possibility of some of those people going into Ghana, because, like you said, the Saniki people are the rulers, are the first people that come there. And Saniki, like you say, they're Sisi people. The Sisi people come from the Sudan, and you can Google it right now. It's the Isi people, but they're also called the Sisi people. So yeah, but that was some good information you was bringing out, you know.
Yeah, that's good, man. Keep breaking it down, man. We let you get the floor. Break it down. Get some more information out on that, man.
Yeah, but now that's pretty much it, you know. I mean, there's a lot more. Like I said, you brothers was breaking it down as far as like the habitation of West Africa, and it lines up with the scriptures because, you know, man was put out of Africa. We stayed on the extremities, you know, Egypt, Nubia, but deep dark Africa, Adam was the last man, so to speak, that was there. So the Bible definitely ain't anti-African, but these people who want to claim that they've been in the jungle and got no type of civilization, that's truly sad, you know.
Yeah, I think they don't realize what they're trying to say or what they're doing.
Right.
It do tie back to the hypothesis, the Hermetic hypothesis, because it says Africa was always underdeveloped until, like you said, Caucasoids came in and gave it civilization. We're not saying that. We saying our ancestors came in and cleaned up and, you know, civilized and built and gave monuments and meta populations and stuff of that nature into Africa.
Right.
But they're subscribing to being primitive until the slave trade. That's pretty much what they're subscribing to.
Yeah. And they try to, you know, use the argument that, you know, saying that there's, you know, very little evidence of like construction and such, you know what I'm saying, in certain regions below the Sahara, you know what I mean? But I heard one scholar argue that in certain geographic regions, due to the environment, people built according to their environments. So you're not going to build in like an extremely tropical environment, you know what I'm saying, buildings that are made of you know, certain materials. You're gonna build according to the environment so that you know, and that's what most people did. So you got folks paying thousands of dollars to go someplace to stay in a grass hut, but then they'll talk down about people who live in, you know, West Africa or whatever, or you know, saying Central Africa and Eastern Africa. They live in dung, you know, what I'm saying, and grass huts. They built according to their environments, and now y'all want to take vacations, go live in them grass huts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all pay thousands of dollars to live to go and stay in them grass huts for a few days, right? So I think, you know, one of the things that they try to say when they dismiss the civilizations and the transmigration of people that were going on, there was so much, you know what I'm saying, movement. Because you got to remember also that there were regions that where people were nomadic because of the environmental changes. They followed, you know what I'm saying, the environment. So they would follow and they move around. There's a lot of even the Maasai warriors and the Maasai, you know, they're nomadic people by nature for thousands of years, because they understand their environment and they move with the environment. You know what I mean? So to say that there was no civilization because there was no, you know what I'm saying, pyramids over here, that's not even true. Like if you even go to like the Sudan, the oldest pyramids, they were much smaller in scale than Egypt's. But you go down to the Sudan and go down into Nubia, into those areas that was considered Nubia and Kush, and you'll see that pyramids were being built thousands and thousands of years before, you know. So that's just, you know, European propaganda to try to, you know, diminish the intelligence of the African people, the West African, East African, you know what I'm saying, people, and diversity of people that existed in those times. They, you know, so that's just my, you know what I'm saying, my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I mean the point of bringing dung huts up wasn't to defame anybody. The point of bringing the dung huts up was that we took it when we got there. We took it from the dung huts to permanent dwellings. We using stuff like concrete we see around Zimbabwe. You understand? They use like not concrete, but they used they made stone walls that are akin to what we see in the Middle East. So that was just a transition of technology that I was exemplifying that our people provided to these areas that before they didn't even have. But I get your point and your sentiments as well. But I just don't think they understand the magnitude of the statements they're making. They're making our history to be very primitive and base, pretty much. I remember Polite got on Candid Cam and said, we should all be able to walk around naked like Africans. I'm like, what are you talking about? You trying to reverse thousands of years of civilization and progress and go back into a primitive state? And this guy was serious when he said this. He basically said
recidivism. That's called recidivism.
Bro, that's reprobate. That's what that is.
Reprobate. That's all kind of weird. Something wrong with your mind if you're thinking that. First of all, if everybody walk around naked, that means grown ass men is walking around naked too. So what are you really saying?
Right.
I don't understand. I didn't understand it at all. And then the argument would be, well, the Africans walked around because it's hot outside. I remember some pro-African elder said that. I'm like, Arabs live in hot regions too. You don't see them butt ass naked. They put clothes on.
Right. Yeah.
It's actually smart to cover up when it's hot.
Right. Because it keeps the temperature at a certain, it keeps the temperature the same. You know what I'm saying? That's why they wear all those clothing, because it maintains a certain body temperature within the, you know what I'm saying? So, that's crazy, man. People want to go back to eating raw meat and clubbing women over the head and dragging them in the caves, you know?
Yeah, it's like, yo, what do you advocate for?
They got tired. And then now they want to go back to the Flintstones.
Zion, you know what they call it? They say they more spiritual. That's why they like that. If they live naked, eat raw meats and all that, that's more. Look at Nature Boy. That's being.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen, man.
Absolutely ridiculous. Go ahead, brother.
Man, yeah, man. First and foremost, man. We supposed to eat in a restaurant like that, man? That's nasty, man. That stink. I mean, like, why would you want to do that, man? You got to cover up that stink, man. You niggas stink, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be out of your mind. Listen, as soon as you get out of the shower and you start to perspiring, you start sweating, that stink, man.
Right,
Why would I want to be walking around
You
eating a Snicker with a nigga butt naked standing next to me, man? I mean, that don't make no sense, bro. Bro, how you gonna have some brotherhood with a nigga that's butt naked, man? Like, I mean, I don't understand that, man.
Around playing basketball.
Look what Amanda Bernice said. Put.
Yeah, you know, so you trying to post the nigga up on the basketball court. Y'all I mean, come on, man. Like, bro, for real, man. Like, we can't even wrestle or pal around with each other. You know what I'm saying? We butt naked doing that, man. Come on, man. That's
we can't do none of that. All that's out the window. COVID-19, 6 feet apart.
Hey, Josh, you can't even pound and embrace a brother butt naked, man. Like,
no. Look what this sister put, man. Come on, man. Are you you really fell for? He was saying that if we were still of a pure mind. What do you mean pure mind? What do you mean pure mind? We would not think about having sex when we see a naked body. What are you talking about?
Having sex. I'm talking about stank. All right, I'm talking
stank,
about
awkwardness,
treating each other, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
If we all of a pure mind, we just walk around butt ass naked, sausage just hitting everything. No, man.
Oh, man.
You leaving residue on you know what I'm saying? Residue on seats and shit.
Like, listen, man. Listen. First and foremost, the body excretes fluids, man. Right. So you don't have nothing to catch that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we operate in a society like that? You can't, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's bad for your health, man. Like, I don't want my schlong touching everything, bro. Like, come on, that's not healthy, man.
You gonna mess around, get a yeast infection?
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? All kind of bacterial issues going on, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, I said that before when I had that situation with Andy Cheeks McGee's L. Joshua was there, and I was like, y'all think y'all living in the Garden of Eden or something? You know what I'm saying? You just walk around butt naked. You know what I'm saying? And y'all think that the earth is accommodating. You know what I'm saying? You see somebody just jump out of the car butt naked and pour gas in their tank. You know what I'm saying? Like that, absolutely absurd. You know, thinking that these people, you know, and that's what it is. It's like the conscious community gets a little. That's what I call that magical Negro syndrome, that Miss Cleo syndrome.
Exactly.
That John Coffey syndrome, man. You know,
Amanda said we would see the nakedness as art, even in magazines.
That is ridiculous and absurd, man. Man, what is wrong with this sister, man? Listen, no disrespect to the sister, man, but listen, man. Come on in here, man, and talk to us, man, because this is ridiculous, man. I ain't even gonna hold you up, man. Again, you know, health-wise, okay? That's why when they say when you working at a restaurant and you come out of the bathroom, or just you ain't got to work at a restaurant, just come out of the bathroom, you should wash your hands, this and the third. If you touch your genitals, you should wash your hands. Why would we just have genital-free behavior going on when you understand that's gonna lead? Come on, man. Like,
you sitting at the table, this grown ass man hanging over you and shit.
Right. Yeah, what's going on, brother? You know what I'm saying? Give me a hug, brother. Give me a hug. Like, yo, back 50 feet up off me, man.
Right.
Just basic decency and etiquette. You know what I'm saying?
People walk around half naked anyway. That's what she put. People walk around half naked anyway. But I swear, you guys want us back in primitive, hunter-gatherer like atmospheres, man. You want us to be in that same
them
culture.
people just lazy, just shoot. That's all. They don't want to have to work.
Everybody don't want to see everybody naked. Everybody don't look good naked.
No house.
I want the sister to address the bacteria and, you understand, the cleanliness aspect of that. This don't got nothing to do with your mindset or you thinking about sex. This don't got nothing to do with that. I want you to address the cleanliness aspect of nakedness. Man, for real.
What part of the world is this from? She better not be from the north. If she's from the north talking about going around naked, you done lost your damn mind.
With all the technology we have today, you want to have all this technology, but we walking around naked. you in laboratories breaking down jeans and all this butt naked. Oh,
this is what we come to.
Where you gonna put your iPhone at? You ain't got no pocket.
Right. Stem not gonna like that. That's crazy.
Put it under her boobie. You know, a lot of sisters do that. They got those capacities. They got pockets.
No, you working at a chemical
hot pockets.
You working at a chemical plant, butt naked. Like, man, come on, bro.
Right, crazy.
No, the burger joint.
Right.
Goddamn hairs in the burger and shit.
Y'all bugging.
Yeah.
I ordered the chicken salad, not the pubic hair salad.
you driving the bus, you switch shifts, and a whole nother person comes sit his ass where you were sitting.
Right.
Oh my goodness. For overtime. Oh, that's crazy.
Bacteria, man. Again, the cleanliness aspect, man. You get a strong gust of wind, you might catch something, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, this ridiculous, man.
Listen, man, we're not going back into no damn Hamite A and B culture, man. We're not doing that. We're not going into no hunter gatherer culture. We wearing, leaf thongs and stuff on. Everybody sagging titties everywhere. We're not doing it.
I personally don't think men should walk around with open toe sandals. Like that's mad feminine to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, bro.
Oh, wait. She said she's trying to clear it up now. I was talking about the beaches and the certain. You talking about nudist beaches? This supposed to be going to nudist beaches. She said she was talking about the beaches, y'all.
Oh, God.
But Polite wasn't talking about the beaches. Polite was talking about in general. Like, they just wake up in the morning, like, fuck it, I ain't gonna take no bath, no damn. I'm just gonna go out here like this.
Oh.
Come on, man. Like, bro, like,
you might as well walk around flashing each other. You know what I'm saying? Freaking got.
It's crazy. He don't believe that himself because he went from saying obviously we should be naked. Then he went to saying he wears nothing but his homeland garb, Nigerian clothes and hats. And then he went to red bottom. So it's like he don't
right.
Hey, man, the Bible says a double-minded man is an abomination, man.
Kind.
Right. So the thing is, man, I need the sister to address the cleanliness aspect of nakedness. That's what I need her to address. You understand? Because what you just rub you rub the back of your leg and you're gonna get bacteria. So imagine if you rubbing or bump up against your genital, like, man, like, I just don't understand this, man. Like, I'm not gonna eat no salad with somebody butt naked standing next to me, bro. Like, it just don't make no sense, man. Oh, we should put clothes on when we eat.
Facts. I don't understand how
we get done eating, we take the clothes back off, man. Come on, man.
Oh, man. This is madness, man. Everybody want to go back to being a baby. You know what I mean? Oh, you got to have the mind of a child. That's called being retarded. You know what I'm saying? There's no development.
Oh, hold up, man. Hold up. Okay, this her again. Check this out.
All right, let's see this.
Listen, man. Women do breastfeeding and some weak men be getting on. Man, come on, man. Like, what does that got to do with the topic? I want you to address, even if we have a pure mind and no one is thinking about sex at all, because you keep going, you're the one talking about sex, by the way. Even if everyone has a pure mind, can you please address the cleanliness aspect of nakedness? Somebody says she's bored.
Yeah. And see, and that's the funny thing too. Like, I don't have a problem with women breastfeeding or anything like that. However, you know what I'm saying, even now in this day and age, you know, there's breast pumps. So there really is no necessity to
Right.
pop the boob out.
And
You
it's
know what I'm
still
saying?
a modest way you can do it too.
Yeah,
You know?
to pop a mammalian protuberary out in the middle of, you know what I'm saying, of a football game, you know, that's not necessary.
Right.
This really isn't. You know what I mean? It's absolutely, to me, it's a little absurd. It's kind of like, you know, attention seeking, you know, because it's not necessary. So, you know, but, you know, if you don't have any more milk in the bottle or whatever, you know what I'm saying, however, you know what I'm saying, the baby wants to eat, you know what I'm saying, then in that case, you know what I'm saying, you know, have at it, you know. But don't get mad, you know what I mean, when you have birds around you looking.
She backpedaled all the way off of it, man. All praise and glory to the Most High. That's what she said, Zion.
Okay.
You are right. We can't go around naked. Thank you. Why? Because all people do is think about sex? No. Because it will be a detriment to our health, man. To go around naked will be a detriment to our health. Okay. Oh man. Okay, here we got somebody else, man. We got somebody else. What they saying here? Being naked isn't dirty. Okay. Your body is just exposed and more.
That's an oxymoron. Being naked, to be exposed means that you're exposed to the dirt, right? So you're saying that to getting sick and to bacteria, etc.
Right.
Then that is dirty. That's what dirty is. Okay, in its simplest term, dirty is or trying to avoid being dirty is to avoid bacteria and uncleanliness, right? So that is an oxymoron, moronic statement.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense. Again, it is a detriment to our health. Being naked isn't dirty. No one is saying being naked is dirty. You're naked when you get in the shower. Okay. So what we're saying is being exposed publicly and your interactions with others is where it's a detriment. You don't want your bodily fluids intermingling with
I can't we have this is like
look at this crazy thing.
I'm
sex
sorry.
101, sex
It is
sexual
dirty.
education 101.
It is dirty, bro. Because when I sit on something and if I'm naked, I'm going to sweat on it.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm gonna
Somebody's
leave
butt
butt
just
chips
sat on
there
a seat, and now
when
you're
I
gonna
get
go
up.
sit behind them butt naked.
Right.
Yeah, somebody gonna come right behind me,
Oh.
butt naked, sit down. How a woman
on.
gonna be butt naked and she on her menstruation?
Right.
She
Come on,
just
man.
sitting everywhere.
She gonna get vaginosis. You're gonna have a large outbreak of vaginosis.
It's more, yeah.
Why do you
Women
think
should
these
be
hunters
more,
and gatherers that
more
live like that be
sensitive to
living
this,
to like
to this matter
35 and 40
men.
years old?
Hey, say it again, Jane. I don't think they heard. Say it again.
I said, why do they think them hunter gatherers and stuff that live these lifestyles that they talking about trying to do live to 35 and 40 years old? 'Cause they
Right.
die early from diseases and all types of stuff.
Right. Take your ass to the Amazonian and those fringe tribes that's living in the Amazonian right now, Amazonian forest. Go down there and live with them. Since you want to be naked, go with them. See all the saggy titties you want.
Right.
You know,
Yo, I had said that. I said you go down to the Amazon and you take a leak in the river. There's this parasite
That'll
that
climb up
literally
your piss.
up the stream of your urine while you're taking the piss and lodge itself into your private part.
They don't
And it
want to
has
be hunters
spikes.
and gatherers. They don't understand what
literally-
hunters and gatherers
They
like
don't.
is.
They don't understand. They don't understand. This ain't the Garden of Eden.
Sister Washington, I thought we had we came to an impasse. I thought we overcame.
We
Okay.
back.
I guess we're back.
This is getting childish at this point. You know how the little kid fight
Yes, you have
put
the
clothes
right
on?
to go to sanctioned places that allow you by government to be naked. You don't have the right to walk up and down the street butt naked, or else you get indecent exposure.
Right.
I wonder what her opinion is on these slut walks, because you know they pretty much do that. What's your opinion on that? Should our people participate in that as well? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. When do we
Right.
draw the line?
Freakniks and stuff.
When do we draw the line?
You gotta cut it out.
The reason why we suck as a people right now is because we don't have no lines. There's really no taboos. Anything goes. That's why I like the Bible, because there is a set of codes and laws, and it's something that governs a body of people. It's not about what makes you feel good or none of that. No, it's rigorous sets of rules and laws that we should abide by. You know, and I agree with that.
Okay, so again, your naked body can get dirty, but your naked body isn't dirty by default. Listen, again, your
relevance,
breathe fluids naturally.
Yeah, you sweat, woman.
Women, right? From your rear end and your private part. You excrete that throughout the course of the day. That is it, your body being dirty of itself. Right? This is why we supposed to clean ourselves every day.
Right.
And so, I mean, I don't
You know, whoever wrote that review, they don't take baths.
The body itself, because what she's not thinking of is what's going on internally. Okay, right. You got so many different types of bacteria inside of you. You got feces still inside of you. You just ate, you know what I'm saying, a dollar menu meal chicken sandwich. I don't care what it is. It's in there. You got bacteria inside. You got bacteria on the outside.
Right.
You know, DNA and particles and skin tissues and cells and everything falling off and attaching.
And when you fart, it sprays. Do you understand that? A fart sprays.
Right. Yeah. If you can smell it, that means
you're gonna have a chart. It's gonna be a shark. It ain't gonna be a fart. It's gonna be a shark.
Hey, some people ain't even
micro
particles. They gonna be boo-booing on themselves. They want to see, people be farting and boo-booing on themselves and shit. Everybody gonna know.
Walk around naked. You know
hold up, family. How did this convo even get
I don't know.
out of here? Because
I don't think any of us know.
Out here because of you. This is what y'all are saying.
Yeah, they came at it. We was talking about DNA and haplogroups and stuff.
I brought up polite. I brought up polite, and this you Negroes secretly want to defend that hunter-gatherer life. That's what it is. I brought up polite in his statement about walking around naked, and her sister was like, he talking about what a pure. She wanted to defend that madness, and then she changed it to beaches and ponds and all that. That's how we got here. The bottom line is, I do not advocate people to be primitive. That's just dumb. You're trying to set us back 8,000 years.
Right. With short lifespans, okay?
Yeah. Why you think they used to talk about the people from the East living so long and thinking that they were, gods and stuff, because they lived 3 of their lifetimes and stuff? Why? Because they had actual dietary laws and stuff that restricted them from eating stuff. So they lived longer than hunters and gatherers.
And they had cleanliness laws.
Yeah.
Like clean and these perfectly placed there to remove, as the brother was saying, the bacteria that naturally comes on your body. As soon as you sweat, that's bacteria. Okay?
Germs.
That's clear. Right? So the body is dirty outside and inside. It's your job and responsibility to keep it clean and to keep your DNA contained within your clothing. Okay, that's what the purpose is, to catch your DNA from not getting into my salad. Okay,
right.
They really want this to be some
no raisins in the macaroni salad, y'all.
You know, I'm gonna
Absolutely
just say
racist.
this is why patriarchy reigns for so damn long.
Right.
I'm gonna just be honest.
Women down for anything.
Exactly, like you too damn open.
Women down for anything, bro.
No, man. Like, no, this shit not cute.
That's why when every time a conquering civilization comes through, the women turn on the men who were conquered.
Right.
Because they gonna go for
Folks want to
what
reverse thousands and thousands of years of trial and error.
for real though. That's really what these laws that they see as come from God is. It's trial and error. You spend your whole days, your descendants will spend their whole days finding out how to live best in this world. And the wisest of us collect those thoughts and put it in a book.
Yeah. She also came back, man. She didn't remix it. She said, yes, if you men say that we can do nudity peacefully in sacred private places without being forcibly approached by anybody, you know that even Pocahontas was raped by John Smith while doing her sacred water ritual. I don't understand where you're going with this.
Right.
They watch too much Disney.
Right. Was Pocahontas and John Smith a real person, man? What's going on here?
Yeah,
they
there was a historic account that they embellished into a Disney
greatly
movie.
embellished.
Yeah, greatly embellished. Absolutely. Yeah, this is Disney gynocentrism.
Yeah.
And this is and this is the problem is with the conscious community. A lot of people don't realize how conditioned they have already been to look at certain images, what I call tropes. They're tropes. And say, oh, yeah, we walk around naked, because Africans do it over here. Everybody don't walk around butt naked in Africa.
Right.
Most of them don't.
Most of them, right.
Yeah. So if you go to Ghana, they wear white garbs that go down to the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like they dress very
well
regal.
covered.
Yeah, they got all kinds. You throw they take large strips of tapestry cloths and wrap it around their body.
Man, go into some of these civilized areas of West Africa, talking about women walking around naked. Man, she'd probably be stoned outside her village trying to walk around.
Right. And then they got the issue of rape that has happened from freaking since the dawn of man. Why? Why are we advocating this? Why is a sister advocating this?
Exactly.
I think it's kind of that's not really thinking.
This is what happens when you remove basic instructions before leaving planet Earth. Okay. Because a woman is a man's possession. And I don't want my possession being seen by the world. I don't want my brother to come over to my house and my wife's walking around naked.
And he can't get his eyes off.
And he just coming over to enjoy it. You got to be out of your damn mind, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to kill him.
Right.
Disrespect me like that in my own
He coming
house.
over to your crib to sit down and watch the football game while your wife walk around and serve everybody butt naked. Get out of here.
Right.
Boy, got a strip club at his house, huh?
Yeah. She's in her house, so she should be able to walk around naked if she wants to.
Right. Didn't Paul Pierce just get fired for that?
Having girls twerking on Instagram Live.
But you see, you gotta understand, Paul Pierce was following his African traditions, man.
Yeah, he had him twerking on Instagram Live.
Right.
Oh man, this sister's not stop. Yeah, the conversation did go south, but
I don't understand the Ooga Booga tradition philosophy. What's the Ooga Booga philosophy is thinking that we have to revert back to primitive behaviors.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much. The Africans
that's
that still
Ooga
walk
Booga.
around naked pretty much are Hamites.
Right. You know what I'm
A
saying?
and B.
Like y'all just gonna be picking fruits and
Haplogroup.
stuff from the from the vine and everything is gonna be until somebody gets sick, you know what I'm saying, from like SARS or MERS's or something.
Yeah, I want somebody to go deal with metal urges butt naked. Okay, we're gonna
Yeah,
go.
yeah, you gonna how the hell
Yeah,
you
let
gonna
them
deal with metallurgy?
tear your damn skin as they bounce back on your butt naked body.
You can't even fry a piece of chicken butt naked. I don't know what I'm talking about, man.
Right.
They
You go
try
ahead, you daring.
Hey, don't
they
bring
trying to
up,
be
you
big
brave.
brains on baby
You
boy. They
can't.
trying to be big brains.
don't bring up that Asiatic chicken being fried in West Africa.
Fill a hot cup of coffee on your
No,
naked
at least
genitals.
Ben Reigns had on an apron, man. You understand me?
Yo, this shit funny as hell, man. Look, man.
Yo, I'm dying over here, yo.
We
I
trying
got
to.
tears in my eyes right now.
But this really do tie back to the main topic, because we really pushing that, say that we brought in civilization into sub-Saharan Africa. We actually did.
Yeah.
Before then, all you
they
had was
were
Hunter-Gatherer
walking
group.
around naked
Right.
before we came in there. And you can see the indigenous people now of the AB haplogroup, many of them still walk around in their tribal ways, hunting and gathering, but naked.
Hey, let me ask y'all a
We
question.
just saying, hey, let's live like our ancestors lived, and not
Facts.
the ancestors of the people that were already there.
Facts.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all historically, who is responsible for Timbuktu?
Who was responsible for Timbuktu? I wish D Red was here, man. I'm not gonna say
It's not Mansa Musa.
Nope.
I might be incorrect.
Predates.
Musa
It
came.
Predates Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was a diverse population, but I'm open. I don't think it was just one population. A lot of these places now there's one population.
Correct. It wasn't just one population.
I think we were a part of it.
So it had to encompass a large geographic region, which would assume that there were many different diversities of cultures within the empire. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would assume.
Well, let me ask y'all this: do y'all believe it was already developed prior to Israelites migrating?
No, not at all. But Timbuktu, who's responsible for its prominence like it was? It wasn't prominent like that until like the Islamic era. That's when the big old university was built there. People from all across the world would come there to be educated there. So that wasn't really until Islam, but it was part of the Mali Empire, though.
Right, Mali. Right.
Yeah, man. I think we did play an integral part in a lot of, like Wakadu we brought out earlier. What's the other one? The other ancient kingdom, Gaio.
Gao. What's the other one? It's not too far from it. I can't think of the name of it. But you have the Oyo state of the Yoruba. You have the Neri kingdom of the Igbo, who say according to their oral tradition they go back to Eri, the son of Gad.
Bantus, right?
Yeah. Who else? You got people of Ghana. I need to find my book. I need to read that one. You know what? I might read that one and do a report on that one.
Yeah, man.
On the Ghana.
I'm back on my Ethiopia tip, y'all.
Babylon and Timbuktu, you had Ghana came out of Mali after Mali fell, and through internal warfare, and each one of them states was destroyed through internal warfare. I don't believe there was any external wars that happened for those empires to fall, even though there were wars, but the collapse of those empires were internal, people vying for power.
Could be. Hey, but I want to to bring it back to full circle on the title. A lot of y'all have to realize when we're talking about Wakadu, when we're talking about Gaio, this was these are places that were settled in much recent times. There wasn't no ancient contact with us
in
there.
the common era.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the most you can go is 3,000 years when we're talking about settlements in Ouagadougou, settlements in Gayo. That's you talking about 3,000 years before present. It's no deep history here. Because again, like we brought up before, wasn't nobody going down into, you know, south of the Sahara prior to 4,500 years ago. Then you see these great places. You see Ghana, like he brought up Mali, the Songhai empires. You start seeing them pop up with settlements around 3,000 years ago, and then they go into prominence around, you know, the CE, the Common Era.
Yeah, the Common Era is when they
then there
start
was
making empires.
right, and then there's also a historic period where many North Africans were pushed, you know what I'm saying, past the Southern Sahara, and there was a book written about it. I'm not sure if it was from Cheikh Anta Diop or one of the other predominant historians that deals with, you know, Africa. But during like the Islamic period, like around the European, there was where they pushed a large portion of North Africans back into the Sahara. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find that book. I can see it in my head right now. The cover page. I just gotta remember the name of it.
Well, the thing is, there's no such thing as sub-Saharan Negro. When you want to be real, because that's just something they put on us to, like y'all been saying all stream. They're trying to put us in one area. For thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, and that's ridiculous. The so-called sub-Saharan Negro been all over the known civilized world. We civilized. The so-called Negro civilized the whole world. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's big facts, man. I don't know what's going on with this sister, man.
Man, we've changed the conversation, man.
Nah. I know now it's on a different, but she's talking about men taking responsibility for separating, but you're separating male and female, right? You're on like a man hate campaign or something, you know. Like I don't know what you mean. You men, what men? Us? We're responsible for you separating from the 12 tribes, right, to compete against one another as individuals. What are you talking about? Give me the time, give me the era, give me the dispensation so we can address that if you would like. I don't know. What are you talking about? Are you talking about today? When you should have stayed together to work towards common goals. How about the man and woman work together and not be on this separatist mission, manifesting the Willie Lynch letter, right? Then she goes on with Frederick. Men with melanin should have stayed together, not counting them Hamites. Listen, first and foremost, coming together was a problem for the children of Israel. That's a problem, trying to come together with other people. That's what led to our downfall, right? So this brotherhood madness because of melanin is exactly what the young phenom Joshua was bringing out, man. We're not all the same. That's the point of the, right? So not only is he showing you, but he's going to the DNA evidence to educate you all on the difference between the two, so we can learn how to honor our heritage as E1B1A and showing the origins thereof. And then he's giving you things to be proud of that they accomplished and brought to the region of Africa. I think these are important points for us to consider for self-pride. Because according to the narrative, we were butt naked swinging from trees, which you was just promoting 5 minutes ago.
Right. There we go. Yeah. And now we see what we're seeing an exhibit of feminism. You know what I'm saying? Toxic feminism. which I call, that's Miss Andrews.
That's right.
That's what I'm seeing right here. Now it's an attack against men. We got to stop this. Sister, please stand down. Because this is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Jeremiah, what we doing here is trying to give glory to our ancestors for a change and stop, pretty much put some respect on our name, like Birdman said, put some respect on our name.
Put some respect on it.
You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors did great things, man. These people were dealing with maritime trade. These people were dealing with gold. These people were dealing with all these things, agriculture, permanent dwellings. First ones to live in permanent dwellings. You understand? Before then, everybody was migratory. They lived in caves and stuff until we came along and started building permanent dwellings and housing and stuff of that nature. We brought that on the scene. We brought language on the scene. We brought civilization on the scene, period. That was us. Whether you want to say it was in Egypt, whether you want to say in Mesopotamia, whatever, we focus more on what people was there than location. And that's why I be telling a lot of these people that's pushing Africa. You push Africa so much, you forget about the damn people.
Right.
What about the people, man?
Yeah,
well, see, that's the thing, because these so-called West African scholars, specifically these brothers, NBK, they don't really dive into West Africa. If you notice, all they do is talk about Black Americana, which is all good and stuff if you want to go to an HBCU, but them brothers don't get into West African history because you can't get deep into it without seeing the Israelite, people in that area. So they really don't go into it. I've been on their channel several times, and yeah, man, those, so like you say, they surface dwellers.
I just don't understand why no sooner than we try to point out and uplift and glorify at least some of the great and wonderful things that our ancestors did. No sooner than we do that, this happens. So you want us to start to we're talking about the great things of our ancestors, and you want to bring up the bad things. No one is saying that in the biblical narrative that the 12 tribes of Israel were perfect and they didn't make no mistakes, right? We're talking about our ancestry even beyond the 12 tribes because we didn't begin there, right? So why is it necessary, Joshua, no sooner do you start speaking good and speaking positive and speaking uplifting things into our people, somebody got to remind us of how wicked and evil we were during certain dispensations.
And I it's hard for me to answer that. I don't know why. Why would you oppose? Really, we just here to share the information on the topic. We really trying to keep it on academia, and then I don't know why would you
oppose? It got to be a hate for God. That's all I can see. Because, like you say, we all try to stick with academia, with the historical data. And me myself, when I'm speaking to somebody that don't believe in the Bible, I could talk for 2 hours without even mentioning the Bible. So with them to still give pushback to that, that's not being scholarly. So what I say is they just hate the Most High. That's what it gotta be,
Man, I don't know what she talking about, man. But just like this I guess I don't know who this is. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. I mean, that's pretty much it. A and B haplogroups, what we've been talking about. The ones that originally inhabited sub-Saharan Africa, we ain't got nothing to do with them as far as ancestry goes. And I'm gonna stand on that because that's what the genetics show. And if anybody want to debate that, we can debate it. If Uncle want to debate it, we can debate it. A lot of these people get on the record and say these things, but I don't never see them, debate what they talk about. You understand? Let me keep going. Damn, here she go again. Should I pay it? Okay, she says, you still call yourself as being the negative term as being black. I never desire to call myself as black.
Let me respond to this.
Go ahead, Zion.
Okay, so when she says the Phoenician word more, the word more is also a derogatory term. The word more derives from mere. Okay? and then where you get the term murder, okay, because it represents death. It's no different than black or Negro and necro. So cut it out, sis. Stand down.
Yeah, and we are teaching about the history of our ancestors. We are Hebrew Israelites, right? So we're teaching about our ancestry. Black is a modern colloquial term for some of our people to understand. But I don't recall anybody promoting any type of blackness on this entire show. Joshua, am I right or wrong about that?
You're right.
So
I don't think I use the term. I might have, you know what I'm saying, but you know, it's as you said, it's a common,
it's a colloquial,
day colloquial term. Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, they know what we're talking about. We not.
Yeah,
I know we got people in our faith and our belief that think that word is negative. I understand the history of it too. I don't like to call myself. Let me tell you why I don't like to designate myself as such, but I will do it for familiarity purposes. The reason why I don't, because that's all the modern world sees you as. They don't say, "Well, you're black and a Jew." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't say,
term, right.
They don't even reflect upon your ancestry. They just say you just a damn color. And that's why I'm against it.
It's not a nationality, nor is the term more, but more science has tried to build a nationality from the term. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, their terms. I think this is a real weak argument from the sister, honestly. She's just trying to throw bows right now.
Right. That's why I was trying to get back into the information, man. Anybody also, here's another argument they'll say about the migration. We know for a fact that there were migrations into sub-Saharan Africa in recent times. We know it because there's foreign DNA there. We talked about this yesterday. Haplogroup R is there. That's a European clade. We see it in Egypt and we see it in the Chadic regions today. So what does that prove? That proves that foreign DNA, foreign people, foreign men migrated into Africa and penetrated into sub-Saharan Africa in recent times.
Well, we see that even in Ethiopia, though, too, as well. You know what I'm saying? Because that Horn of Africa is like 10 miles away from Sabia and you know, Southern Asian Minor or Southern Middle East, and so there was a lot of transmigrations going through the Horn into, you know, to Southern Arabia, and there was and so you see the genetic patterns for the migrations even coming back in, and so that's where you have certain haplogroups even in Ethiopia that claim Semitic, you know, and you see it in the languages too. It's an Abjad language, the Ge'ez and the yes, you know.
But my brother, that's not African culture, because Cecil Rhodes in the Scramble of Africa said Africa is just that continent and they can't cross the river, which, like you said, is nothing but like 20 miles at its closest interval. I mean, a bridge to go across the river. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they socially engineered us to think that Africans are so dumb and so trifling and so shiftless that we can't expand out and still contain that same culture that we had originally. It's a shame.
Right. And that's the absurdity of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the absurdity of it. You know, to assume that there wasn't, you know what I'm saying, that we, you know what I'm saying, weren't traveling, you know what I'm saying, all through the continents and even traveling, you know what I'm saying, overseas. You know, that's really trying to diminish the intelligence of the peoples. You know what I mean?
Right. Have any of you guys seen the Y chromosome studies on the Fulani and the Hausa?
No, I've definitely seen it on the Fulani. A lot of them have a T marker, TY haplogroup, which would make them Japhetic. But you know,
yeah, that's ancient Near East. What that shows is that people have been migrating from the Near East into Western Sub-Saharan Africa for long periods of time. These people make it seem like it's impossible.
Right.
Well, how are you going to say you came all the way from the Middle East? Because that's what the oral testimony says, and that has been going on.
Right. And to respond to Lee's statement, technically, nationality doesn't necessarily mean different haplogroups. You can have people within a nationality, because people think that nationality totally relates to solely to genetics. You know what I'm saying, or a specific genetic group, and I would have to disagree with that, because nationality is basically people subscribing to a specific socio-political party or group. You know what I'm saying? So you could revoke your American national status and go to Canada and become a Canadian nationalist. And when we say ethnic group, ethnic, I believe, relates specifically to genetics. You know what I'm saying? So haplo and genetic, maybe I'm incorrect. I don't know if the brothers, y'all brothers are a little bit more versed in this, but in my, presumption, you know what I'm saying, is that ethnic means genetic.
It could, but it could also mean culture.
Hey, I got 2 slides if I can. I want to show the West African culture strictly tied to Israelite culture. You brothers mind if I share something right quick?
Go ahead, you got it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Go ahead. I'm gonna see it.
I'm gonna jump back on my PC like right now. I'm here right there.
And for the record, don't anybody ever say you can't come on the source and have an open mic to share your information. All we ask is that you source up.
Big facts.
Indeed.
Yeah. After you get done doing that, I'm gonna show you guys the DNA, man, from the Fulani and the Hausa, man. Anybody saying that there was no migrations into Sub-Saharan Africa, you fooling yourself, man. Especially if you're saying they didn't come from Europe or Near East, man, you really fooling yourself. Why the brother get that? You got to understand something. You do understand Africa. In Egypt, you have the Levantine corridor that goes into Eurasia. You can walk there. If you're there, you can walk into Africa, into Eurasia, and you have the Horn of Gibraltar, Northwest Africa, that connects into Europe. You can go into Europe. So you mean to tell me people just sitting here and didn't figure none of this out? They didn't migrate. They didn't trade with none of these other continents.
Now they saw the invisible barrier there and turned around and walked back.
Right. You don't even need seaworthy ships to really go across the Mediterranean. You don't.
You can walk around the edge of that. As well.
So can y'all brothers see that?
Bring it back up. Where's that? There you go. I got you.
All right.
You on?
I just want to show something real quick. Y'all check this out, bro. Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Accusation of adultery. The man leading the way into the courthouse is Gingiti, who has accused his wife of committing adultery with a neighbor, Bukuyo, the man following him into the hut. Bukuyo's wife is next in line, and lastly comes Gingiti's wife, Gume, who denies the charge of infidelity leveled against her by her husband. Among the Azandi, adultery is one of the most frequent crimes to be heard and judged by the chiefs. In the past, a chief like Zorro had the power of life and death over his subjects, and an adulterer was often executed for his crime. Today, the process by which the chief discovers the truth remains the same, although the punishment is more lenient. First to give evidence is the wronged husband, Gingiti.
Family court.
Giri rabu kite gire giri na du koron le tibali bali kan du. Ja boku yoro de ka gbe kana patata na itapata. Ka bara kin je kurikin yang. Upana mangare na jari na takana patana ja boku ikati. Kiru gene ye bale uneke imone. Kana bali tuna ka zako kini ako muna vinga ja borumu ya muimini imuti. Aku imingale che kurane ya. Ku bali che ka gaku kuko. Che du bara cha taru chini wo mi bali na ke kono du biani na manga. Ku cha du ni.
Buku yo ma vidiako. Buku yo ma ndusa diako. Diaro yetini kabilo.
Nanja wanga shadunga mirala na kitegire biso.
Munipe kwa.
Mirala na kitegire biso. Bazini for John kuko kiniyena. Na gizaza safari kwa kinyana mbelena. Bazini for chele. Ala tunakambira ala. Jako kinye yoguri na manana. For daily. Bazini gina jakini yege nikeka jana mi ana jabo dunukene. Iza katuna patodo boy kata. Ko shado.
Ma nunga sadete.
Ma nunga sadete.
Ma nunga sadete. De gini giti. Gapa na nge gine ma ndutini kubuku yoyo.
Me nunga andu kubuku yo. Mikine gwari kini jibaga kini ya me andu kwa gigi ulitana kwa kuira. Ki ukafari mikimbulia ki ukobole mikimbulia. Fo ani nani na raporo kini daduli. Fo deli. Liye yango kinsa na hete line ye kini ya na bia module ni nara na kumbai pa kumbai ya makura kuliro gini he muri ke ka jaji mo purale parasi jijiri ngodu ni basa kini ye waliriyo nare bole be kini ye waliriyo nare kini gwari sese lisapota iza teka zako cheho kukini kasiginete kini zakaga wo cha Dubai ra
Mochamo ma vinga kote.
Nyaranga na kote.
Mugumba kupale ngbembika wadwade uwe ginili wimweni. Uli hiwi wimweni. Mwi ijipolisa. Ulisa mukifunguni. Nadilile. Manuga sete. Manengu tafunguni. Naam.
Chief Sorrow has passed the problem of deciding the truth to Benge, a scarce and expensive poison with a strychnine base. It is used in the most important and trustworthy of Zande oracles. Representatives are appointed for Bakoyo and Gume to consult the Benge operator who administers the poison to chickens. The operator will ask the chickens whether Bakoyo did in fact sleep with the wife of Gingiti. Whether the chickens live or die will determine the truth. The ritually proper preparations for the use of Benge take some days, so until then the accused, Bakuyo and Gume, are kept together in a prison hut on Sorrow's compound. There they will work for the chief until judgment has been.
So you can see right there, they used to make them drink it themselves. But now they more civilized, I guess. But here's where they look into the liver. That's straight out of Ezekiel, or just how we used to do in the old times. So, yeah, it's there, man.
Yeah, that's very interesting, man. That was a good one.
So for the audience watching, you basically showing that they had a practice that they had to drink a concoction to see if they committed adultery.
The bitter waters.
Right. The bitter water.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And and there's more.
Hey, hold on, brother. When we gonna get the show on the channel, man? I asked you for that show 6 months ago. Giddy.
Oh man, we can make it happen, bro. Definitely.
Yeah, let me know.
We can make that happen. Yeah, I'm gonna get with you. I'm gonna put my number in the back chat.
Don't get with me 6 months from now, brother.
Nah, bro. All right,
I'm gonna share this article, man, about the Hausa and the Fulani, both sub-Saharan African groups, right? All right, so check this out. So I'm gonna show you guys the article. Is my screen up? Yeah. I'm gonna show you guys the article where I'm getting it from. Nah, we do here source up, sub 7 gang, source gang over everything. Dang, I lost the article. Y'all probably see it on the screen. Oh, there it is. All right. So I'm gonna go to the top, and this is from Indo-European.eu. The article says Fulani from Cameroon show ancestry similar to Afro-Asiatic speakers from East Africa, right? Published April 27, 2019. The introduction says, to extend our knowledge patterns on genomic diversity in Africa, we generated high coverage genome sequencing data from 43 geographically diverse Africans originating from 22 ethnic groups, representing a broad array of ethnic, linguistic, cultural, and geographic diversity. Why is this important? Because again, anybody saying that everybody, we all African, we all the same, this right here kills it. This is 22 different groups, and there's a broad array of variants of ethnic and linguistic, cultural, and geographic diversity. These include a number of populations of anthropological interest that have never previously been characterized for high coverage genome sequence diversity, such as Afro-Asiatic speaking El Molo fishermen and Nilo-Saharan speaking Oji hunter-gatherers in Kenya, Afro-Asiatic speaking Ari and Agaw and Amhara, agropastoralists in Ethiopia, Niger-Congo speaking Fulani pastoralists in Cameroon, and that's what we're going to focus on in the Nilo-Saharan speaking Kaba, Central African Republic, CAR, and Laka and Bulala, Chad, among others. We integrated the data with 49 whole genome sequences generated as part of the Simon's Genome Diversity Project. All right, so now let's look at the haplogroups that they found, right? Check this out. The haplogroup that was found in Cameroon. Right here, the Fulani people are traditionally a nomadic pastoralist living across a broad geographic range spanning the Sudan, Sahel, Central and Western Africa. The Fulani in our study sample from Cameroon clustered with the Afro-Asiatic speaking populations in East Africa, and the phylogenetic analysis indicating a potential language replacement from Afro-Asiatics in Niger-Congo in this population. Meaning, shorthand meaning that they lost their original language, which they postulated as Afro-Asiatic, and they adopted Niger-Congo. Prior studies suggest a complex history of the Fulani. Analysis of Y chromosome variations suggests a shared ancestry with Nilo-Saharan and Afro-Asiatic population, whereas mtDNA indicates a West African origin. An analysis based on autosomal markers found traces of West Eurasian-related ancestry in this population, which suggests a North African or East African origin. Now watch this. We're going to go straight down to the as North and East African also have such ancestry likely related to the expansion of farmers and herders from Near East that consistent with the presence at moderate frequency. Now, I want to bring this up as well. So because we make the claim that haplogroup E went into sub-Saharan Africa from the Middle East, they traveled down there. We actually have examples of that with this group with foreign DNA that actually we can see that they migrated from elsewhere. They were not always in Western Africa. So let's get into the DNA right here. It says right here, haplogroup R. Now let's deal with haplogroup KM9. It's restricted to the Hausa and the Galian with low frequencies and is absent in the Nilo-Saharan and Niger-Congo. So how the Hausa actually have haplogroup K, which again, if you follow the other show, that would be a Japhetic lineage, not a Shemitic. Haplogroup RM173 appears to be the most frequent haplogroup in the Fulani. And haplogroup RP25 has the highest frequency in the Hausa and the Copts, and is present at lower frequencies in North and East Western Sudan. So that means this foreign DNA, these foreign men that were not, we know R is not from Western Africa. We know it's not. It comes from Eurasia. And we see these West African groups with these Eurasian haplogroups. Haplogroup R, haplogroup K. So what does that let you know? There was migrations from Eurasia into Africa. That's what that lets you know. Meaning the migration, that migration route was known. And people frequent those routes throughout time. So if anybody telling you there was no migration, there was no travels between these two areas, they are lying to you. They either lying to you or they just don't know. They ignorant. But the Fulani, Sub-Saharan, that's a Sub-Saharan African group, and the Hausa are Sub-Saharan African groups. We all know about them. They migrated elsewhere. We know that because we have their DNA. They have haplogroup R and haplogroup K, which is Eurasian or European haplogroups. Matter of fact, the largest haplogroup in Europe today, modern Europe today, is haplogroup R. There's like 60% of the males in Western Europe are haplogroup R. So that is concrete evidence that people have been traveling and migrating into West Africa. We got the proof. We also have the Chadic group that we brought out earlier. Same thing. Haplogroup RVA8. They say they migrated there 7,000 years ago, according to them. All right. Anybody want to add anything? If not, we can get ready to close it out. Let me read some comments before we do. Philip Daniel says, I know about Eurasian back migration contributing to the genetic makeup of the Fula, Hausa, and Yoruba for a while. It appears in their oral and written histories, by the way. Exactly. This means the oral testimonies by these people hold some credence because we got genetic evidence to back it up now. For all you naysayers out there, for the opposition out there, you so-called African conscious people, there's evidence that these people are not there. It's in their blood. It's in their DNA. We can see they don't belong there. You can see they came from another foreign people outside of Africa. Unless you want to make all of haplogroup R African now. All of haplogroup K African. You want to make that? No. So again, this shows that the migration into sub-Saharan Africa was possible. Also, it shows that these people have been doing this for a while, man. We see these foreign clades in sub-Saharan Africa. All right, it says many Fulani consider themselves red, by the way, in distinction to their black non-Fulani neighbors. That's interesting. Gary Cole says, great news. Thank you. Devin says, Hausa, the Torik and Fulani was brutal to us in the slave trade. Yeah, that's true. But you got to understand, our own people did us dirty too. So, yeah, we understand that. But you had other African groups that did us dirty as well that share the same ethnicity. Looking here in America, same haplogroups as us. Look in America. Just examine America. Crips and Bloods. Just because they Crips and Bloods don't mean they're not your people. But you're right. The Hausa, the Fulani, those two, we understand that a lot of their DNA is foreign to ours. Their haplogroup R. It's a different ancestry. We're not a part of that ancestry. All right. All right, man. If y'all want to add nothing to that, we're going to end on that note.
Nah, I just want to say thank you, bro, for letting me on. Shout out to Yirmiyahu, to the other two brothers that's on the panel. Shalom. Peace to everybody listening.
Hey, shalom, man. We're going to get that show, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I dropped the number in the back chat, man. And just get at me later, man, and we can set something up.
I appreciate it.
Indeed. I just wanted to say, you know what I'm saying, big shout out, you know what I'm saying, to you, Joshua, and Brother Jeremiah. You know what I'm saying? I always say the Yah. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I enjoy being back on the show, man. I miss y'all, brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I look forward to more. You know what I'm saying? More work. You know what I mean? listening and reasoning and learning. I'm learning a lot. I've learned a lot from all y'all brothers. Y'all already know.
Yeah, same here, man. You dropped that bombshell on the channel about the 14th Amendment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man.
That was heavy.
Yeah, man, and it's important, man, that we stay engaged with the people. A lot of naysayers out here that argue from ignorant standpoints. So, and you'll find yourself seeing two brothers argue, and both of them are ignorant on the topic that they're discussing. And so we're just being a consistent force to inspire our brothers and sisters, man, to read, man. Right? Looking at reading level, and even I myself, I'm not the best reader, but I'm a good researcher. You understand? And I can get the information. And so we're trying to inspire brothers and sisters, man, to increase their learning, right? And only speak on things you've studied and researched. If you haven't studied and researched it, just be quiet and learn. You understand? And just because something don't sound good to the thing that you're standing on, right? Lean on facts. Lean on things that can be substantiated, right? And don't allow your passion to overtake knowledge and reasoning and logic, right? So that's what we're trying to inspire brothers and sisters, man, to do the research, look at the information honestly. And if you come across something that challenges your understanding, then you probably need to adjust your understanding. And don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid of growth, right? And I just want to say peace to the source, man. And we're just trying to be a consistent beacon for honest scholarship. Shalom.
Hey, I want to add to that, man, because that was beautiful. Because I'm not the same person I was a few years ago, man. Especially 10 years ago, 5 years ago. This came over time. Like, we learn and get better, make mistakes. That's just how it go. Especially when education and learning. I started off, when I first started off, I thought nobody in Africa was an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? That's how I approached it. And that's the camp I was under. That's how they taught it. So that's how I, regurgitated it. But as time went on, people challenged that and people gave me other information to look at. One of those people was James. I knew James for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And I used to get into it, go back and forth. And a lot of the things that was being shown, I eventually integrated that into my scholarship, and I dropped other things that, that couldn't be substantiated. So that's just, like you said, growth, learning, trial and error. We all in this together, man. And you ain't gonna get struck by lightning and know everything. This just came from studying and being proven wrong on a lot of things, so, and then adjusting and going from there.
You gotta be willing to challenge your information and let your information get it. Because if you just stay, pigeonholed and you just stay in a box and just think you right because you think you right, you know what I'm saying? This is why we want debates. So information can be challenged and it can be presented in a scholarly way. That way every point that you're trying to make can be substantiated and you're not up against a clock concerning being able to have to pull from sources. You have everything packaged and be able to present it to the people in a complete way. I think that's the best form of teaching.
Absolutely, I agree.
All right, man, we're gonna leave for anybody.
Yeah, and let them know, let the audience know, you know what I'm saying? Keep your clothes on.
Hey, and guess what? we open to debate anything that was stated today. I am open. Anybody that says, you know what, Yashu wrong about everything he said, we do belong to West Africa. That's where we are our origin. That's our point of origin. We don't come from Middle East. Y'all just believe in the Bible and all that other bull. Man, I'm open to debate this. 3 rounds, we can get it in here on the source. So if anybody feel that way, debate me. Or debate James. Come on, we ready.
Come get the work.
You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm gonna leave y'all with right here.
Or is it Hillary? In fact, they won't touch this kind of topic. They would like to have some buffoon on who knows nothing about the topic that they can make fun of. But if somebody actually knows what they're talking about, no desire to have a conversation with that guy. And this, I'm afraid, also extends to intellectual academic debate. Professors, I don't name names, but it's true in general, are scared to debate. They say things, but they won't stand up behind them. They rely on their own hospitable crowd of well-wishers to endorse what they say, amplify it. They want Michael Moore to make a movie on it, and they want to be in the New York Review of Books. But they won't stand up man to man in intellectual debate and allow their ideas to be tested.
And with that, 7 gang, Sauce Gang over everything. You know how we rocking, man. We'll be back on later on with a presentation, 5 presentation from a young lion that's going to bring the heat to y'all on his take on DNA, his take on the Y chromosome. So y'all stay in tune for that. That will be coming out a little later today. Shalom.
Shalom.